The Out There channel.
Please sub and share.
Searching for the truth. UFOs, aliens, greys and ufology. Real images, real stories, real videos, real cases, researched and investigated by professionals in the field and cutting-edge discoveries. Multiple witnesses, abduction accounts brought to you by Team The Out There channel. Good to be back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Action.
We're coming for you. Looks like it's working all right. Yeah, we're back at the desktop. You can talk now, Robert. You can say hello to everybody.
Yeah. Hi, everybody.
I'll just post up the.
There's no one to side chat if sounds good.
How come we've lost your video? Did you turn off your video there?
Oh my God! I'm sorry, I meant to turn it back on. Okay, there we go.
Okay, I'm just going to shrink you down for a minute while I get hold of that file. I didn't say what today's show was going to be.
You didn't? Yeah, you did. It's in the description, isn't it?
No, I didn't put it in my text file.
Oh.
Yeah. I never forgot something. It's like when I hit the go button. So we're going to be talking about.
Well, you're going to be talking about Korff first, aren't you?
Yeah, you can explain it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Korff is basically a debunker that's been around since, I think, the late 70s or the 80s now. Some of his work is debunking the Patterson Gimlin film, the Roswell event, Betty and Barney Hill, but it doesn't stop there. Now, he claims he still is, I don't know, I'm not sure, Israeli intelligence, which is complete and utter bunk, one of his fantasies. He also claimed he was reserving Iraq and he's there with his mates and he's holding this gun. Well, nobody recognised the rifle he was holding. So someone done a deep dive on it and it turned out to be a paintball gun. Now, can you see the type of person we're dealing with? He's just, I don't know, there's something a bit wrong with the guy. But yeah, he's one of the chief debunkers of the Roswell case. Claims he was one of the original researchers of the case. Although nobody's ever seen any of his work on Roswell, he just seems to have opinions and he digs dirt upon people. Korff, not a nice person.
Yeah. And of course, Steve Cambion works with him.
Steve Cambion has worked with him, and that recent article with Art Levine has quoted Korff on a number of times in the article, which was not a good start.
Yeah, these people probably haven't seen the article yet, but UCR was raving about it, and I thought, what the hell is Lou on? when it's mentioning all sorts of names in the article, including this cow guy. So
yeah,
so we got a few things to show you here today, and
that's right. Somebody dedicated a whole website to not a website, a YouTube channel to debunking Korff, and You can see it's actually hilarious. You can spend a whole night going through all the videos, and after you've done that, you'll be in no doubt whatsoever what a fraud Carl Korff is.
What was that one there? Reverse engineering. What was that one about? Senates. I think this is part of where the article come from, wasn't it? Let's see. Let me just have a read of it. Legals.
Yeah, I wouldn't spend too long on this. It's just, I mean, there's. Oh, it's really blurring.
Yeah.
I can't even read that.
Yeah, probably get rid of that. Let's see. All right, this was about where they had 60 days. Remember, we were talking about. This is a lead into the latest article, but yeah, basically they were changing the law, saying that anyone that's got UFO materials, crashed debris, have 60 days to reveal it in this new bill, and they won't be prosecuted or something. And then it says no later than 180 days after the IAA passage. So this is where all the new stuff's happening. So they're trying to get whistleblowers or other subcontractors like Bigelow, if they've got any material from UFO crashes, to bring it forward to Arrow, and they'll be exempt from the law prosecution for being a leaker or whistleblower. But they've only got a certain number of days to do it. So that's what this article was.
Yeah, okay, that's all good and well, and it sounds really intuitive. But let me say one thing. Either I've got nothing in place to protect those whistleblowers if someone decides, they don't like what they've said and they decide that they want to harm that person. There's nothing in place to stop them doing it at this stage. That's still ongoing. So I think people are just going to stay quiet.
Yep. Just find it.
The Inspector General really is the only legitimate place I would kind of go. And oh yeah, Carl Korff.
Yeah, so
so
this is the guy that we're talking about before. Carlton Korff. So he's KKK. Yeah, I just noticed that his initials are KKK. There. And he's got a Texan cowboy hat too, by the looks of it. Is he from Texas?
He's probably a cowboy as well in his fantasies. I have no idea.
Why has he not got any shirt on there? That's kind of weird.
He's in the shower. You can see the tiling behind him. The hell's taking selfies in the shower, and then, I don't know.
Anyway, this a dedicated Twitter page on this guy. And it's also got the latest article somewhere here. One with the cow image on it. Where is it? There. So it's got this latest thing from Art Levines, or Levines. I'm not sure how you say his name.
Yeah, it's Art Levine.
Yeah. But we'll play the thing that... You know how Art Bell is, right? Everybody knows who Art Bell is. He's Art Bell never ever lost his cool with anybody, but he managed to lose it with this Korff guy when he was caught lying. And if you're caught in one lie, you can't trust that person to be anything in ufology, as far as I'm concerned. concern, because how do you know he's not lying about all the working with people and all this evidence that he claims to have found? If he can't, if he's been caught in lies.
Well, Art Bell had no problem with skeptics, but when it turns into slander and defamation of character, then it becomes a different thing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And that's what Korff is famous for. If you can't attack the data, attack the witness.
Yeah. So I just wanted to bring up that, but we'll just play the bit from Art Bell here, and hopefully it's still got the thing set.
Blah, blah, blah. You know, he's a debunker. He's been doing this for years. Only Mr. Korff has now made a fatal mistake, legally. Because when I began to investigate what all these people were telling me about...
Is that loud enough?
They were referring to a program called Sightings, which is apparently a syndicated radio program that's kind of a knockoff from what we do here. And I guess a knockoff from what's done on TV. I don't know. They call it Sightings anyway. It's hosted by a man named Jeff Rentz, who seems to be a decent sort of fellow. And everybody referred me to their website, this Sightings website, and said, listen to the real audio presentation or program archive on 7/30/97. July 30th of 1997, so I did. And I began listening as it was suggested to me at the 1 o'clock hour. And there was a discussion of the Phoenix lights, which were explained as the 10 o'clock flare being flares, and so forth and so on. Typical debunking. Then Mr. Rentz, the host, discussed with Al Korff the Fox special, which I guess had just occurred. But then at 10:07 and 52 seconds, and I want to be very precise about this as I explain it to you, at 10:07:52, Mr. Korff said, quote, listen to this, folks. I know that Art Bell called this Phoenix radio station to put pressure on them because I was going to be on the air. This was prior to the stunt they pulled on the air with this Richard Hoagland analysis that we didn't land on Mars. Art Bell was very concerned that I was going to be on this #1 radio talk show prior to the event because it might hurt the gate, as in the proceeds. And since Art Bell is invested to a degree with Richard Hoagland, he was concerned enough to call that station and put pressure on them regarding me being there. But the station bit back, essentially saying, no thank you, we're not going to tolerate this. Jeff Rentz, the host, then said, you got this direct from station management personnel? Al Korff said yes. In fact, and then he goes on to reference something totally unrelated to that specific question. And then at 1:09...
Well, as you can imagine, Bell was just a wee bit upset about that. So, after he talked to his network and legal counsel, the next thing happened.
Certainly is. Top of the morning, everybody. What do you think? Should we give Al Korff, the slandering little weasel, one more opportunity to apologize prior to a lawsuit? Oh, yes, I know we're going to an AT&T pickup service, but first it rings, you see, at Mr. Korff's residence, and Mr. Korff assured us that he would be at his residence at 10 o'clock to issue his formal apology in a forum at least equal to the forum in which he made these slanderous charges. But as you heard, the little worm didn't pick the phone up, and it rang through to AT&T service, and so I just felt like leaving a message for him. So I will try dialing once more here in a moment. Lie once, lie twice. Another example would be, we were on the phone with Mr. Korff, and a question came up about Jeff Rentz, and Korff said, oh, you know, I haven't even talked to Jeff Rentz since the show that I told you about back on July 30th of 97. I said, Mr. Korff, are you a congenital liar?
Now, let me pop in here real quickly and answer Art's question. Is Korff a congenital liar?
Yes.
Well, in my humble opinion, hell yes.
I just talked to Jeff Rentz, liar. I just talked to...
So, now Art literally had him by the short hairies. There was absolutely no way for this worm to squirm out of it unless he wanted to get hit with a lawsuit. I mean, what's he going to do? He got caught with his hands in the cookie jar. Art, taking Korff at his word, which was Art's second mistake, believes that he will be available to come on Coast to Coast to make a public admission and apology. Korff, being the worm that he is, wasn't available. So Art finally gave him one more chance. And
for those of you not familiar with what is to follow, you may check my website, and you will find audio files of the words said by Mr. Cal Korff on the Sightings program, a syndicated radio program that can be heard. I pretty well covered it last night, and as you know, I was very, very angry. I believe that we have with us tonight Mr. Cal Korff. Cal, are you there? Yes, sir. Okay, Cal, I was really, really angry at you last night. My anger is somewhat abated at this moment, but I believe you've got something you want to say.
Yes, everything I said about Mr. Art Bell was completely untrue and false. I retract everything entirely and further apologize to not only Mr. Bell, but the CBC radio network and the affiliates mentioned, KFYI in Phoenix, Como, and KBI in Seattle.
So your words about me and what I allegedly said were totally false.
Yes, there's no evidence at all. None of it held up, and you deserve an apology, Mr. Bell.
All right, thank you. I want to say something to you, and it is the following. Words, Mr. Korff, really do have consequences in ufology. Something we're both interested in. We've got room for all sorts of people, believers, skeptics, even debunkers like yourself. However, if the goal of our debate is the truth, then the reckless disregard for it harms all of us. So please, I would only ask this. The next time you decide to debate the statements of something you call facts, make damn sure that you know them to be facts and not slanderous lies. This method generally effectively prevents embarrassing retractions of the sort you just had to make. I really do wish you luck in your future endeavors.
Okay, so anyway, there we go. Art caught him red-handed. Apparently, however, that never made an impression, not long-lasting, on Korff.
No.
As time went on, Korff's claims became increasingly bizarre. Now, I've known Kevin Randall, Ph.D., and a retired lieutenant colonel in the Iowa National Guard, previously a Army helicopter pilot in Vietnam, later an intelligence officer in the U.S. Air Force, and then the Iowa Air Guard. Randall served in Vietnam. He served in Iraq. And to make a long story short, Randall has been one of the foremost investigators on the Roswell incident, whatever that incident was. However, that had to bother Korff. Now, Korff is beyond any doubt, in my mind, an attention, publicity-seeking whore. Okay? No other way to say it. And I believe in just being downright, hey, there it is. Now, Korff took numerous and extensive shots at Randall over the last few years. At one point, even calling Randall a coward for supposedly being too afraid to debate Korff on Rob McConnell's radio show, which was absolute crap anyway, because Randall didn't listen to McConnell's show. Damn few people with a serious interest in things like the paranormal and actual genuine UFO research listen to McConnell's show, and he made it in passing. No formal invitation was ever sent to Randall. But as this began to circulate and percolate, just like the Art Bell material that you just heard, it got back to Randall, got back to somebody else too, got back to Canadian film producer Paul Kimball. And Kimball decided to take the bull by the horns. He offered, under the auspices of his film company, to fly both Randall and Cal Korff to a neutral location in Halifax, in Canada, and to pay them both a per diem, put them up in a hotel, and to schedule a debate run by the Canadian Debating Society up there. Randall immediately accepted. Korff initially accepted and then bowed out. Later, he said it was because of his anti-terrorism duties was the reason he couldn't make it.
Yeah,
Now,
sure
wait,
it was.
Anti-terrorism duties? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. This was one of the bizarre claims by this bizarre little man, that he was an officer, initially a captain, in, now listen closely, the Israeli-founded Special Secret Services. Oh, yeah.
While he was living with his
Among
mum.
his other duties in the Saudi Arabian-funded and Israeli-founded Special Secret Services, allegedly,
Jesus.
a sheik put up $25 million. Now, are you catching all this? You got to wonder what the hell is running loose in Korff's brain that he would expect anybody to believe this claptrap. But he was a captain running around Iraq looking for Saddam's atomic weapons. Oh, this is just one of the claims. Later, he made a jump, literally from captain to full colonel. Now, I got involved when
Possible.
I received an email from somebody asking me if it was true that Korff had worked as are you ready for this? A level 3 analyst at Lawrence Livermore Labs. Now, honestly, I didn't know. I didn't think so. And I wrote him back. As a matter of fact, I've got all that correspondence still. After this show is done, and it's going to take me a little time, but I'm going to prepare a paper with all of this documented proof and make it available worldwide on the web. But I stated I doubted that he ever worked there. And if he did, well, quite honestly, I'd eat my hat. That's what I said, foolishly getting involved in this fray. But when I'm asked a question, as a rule, I answer it. Well, a few days later, suddenly, I am snowed under by threats of legal action and being put under the microscope of his special secret services, which, by the way, he had some aides. One of them, a former Czechoslovakian supermodel by the name of Martina Dechkova or something along those lines. And I got a letter from her. Now, I've seen this lady on the web. I've seen videos of her, and I've heard her speak. And let me tell you.
Unfortunately, that's all we got of that one. But I would like to hear about what the model was all
I'd
about.
like to have heard the rest of that. But this is the guy now, Cal Korff, who's currently, his name is being used by a couple of guys on podcasts. One is Lou Jimenez, and the other one's really Stephen Campion's used him several times. He's done several interviews with him.
At least 5 shows, I think.
Yeah. Did any of these guys looked into his background?
No, I don't think so. They're meant to be researchers, though.
You know, that is a simple internet search. You can
I know,
find
it is,
out
isn't it?
all over the web.
Yeah, all over the web.
Wow.
Peed. It's Korff.
And there's that video where he fakes an Israeli conference, and he's the only one in the room.
Is
and
it
he's
on
pretending
here?
that.
Not sure if it's on here or not.
Yeah, it's on this one. Yeah, it's one of them. You need to go to videos, Paul. I think you might find it there a bit better. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah. He defaces him and all that so he doesn't get sued and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Legal threats. He was talking about nuclear weapons too.
There it is, the Calcott fake news conference. That's the one. It's only short.
Okay. Let's give it a try.
Look, he's got the Israeli flag there. He's the only one in the room.
Yes, it is a fact that we have taken legal action against Royce Myers III.
The audio's not so good on some of these, though.
No, it's not.
Let me just check it.
Well, what happened is, out of the blue, unsolicited, I get this email from David Biedi, and he threatens me with physical violence. And I thought, okay, here we go.
Bit loud there.
I'd like to thank the Israeli delegation for, especially for inviting me today, and also all the leaders of Cal's Corner.
I have to keep it on the volume. There's crazy volumes on these.
Well, first of all, Mr. Rob McConnell has been given the exclusive rights to interview me about what happened, my rank as a colonel, and so on.
Well, they're very short.
Well, first of all, you have to remember that there is no such thing as a UFO expert or an expert on UFOs. It does not exist. There is no such thing as ufology, so to speak.
God, it sounds like Goof on. And he slanders people left, right, and centre too.
Yeah, well,
The question was, why is Sheriff Gil Gilbertson not credible? Why is he dishonest? Why is he corrupt? And so on. There's a long list. The answer is very simple, and I want to be clear that I can only state this in my own personal interactions with Gil Gilbertson. I don't know if anything else he's done. I don't profess to have any insight, and I can't give you any other details other than my firsthand knowledge. So
the channel owners out did that.
Question was, how did I first find out about my Jewish influence or heritage? It had to do with my father. My father.
No one sued ever. I thought we were going to see a pan around of the room.
Well, he couldn't have done that because there was nobody there.
Yeah, but where's the proof that no one was there? That's the only problem.
Yeah, well, he knew that, didn't he?
Yeah. So that was meant to be like a disclosure project with the news people there, was it meant to be? Or something, was it? News conference.
I have really no idea. He's there with the Israeli flag. Oh, my God.
But he was claiming to be like a nuclear expert, wasn't he, as well? Where was that?
Yeah. I mean, how many things was this guy?
Yeah, he's meant to be like a savant or something, is it?
I think there's some mental illness going on there, you know. Just my humble opinion.
Oh, there's the one we played before, but there's no part 3 from what I can see.
No.
Two. Right, so that's back in 12 years ago. So this has been around for a while, so it should have been easy to research. And this is 12 years ago.
Yeah. There's no excuses not to know what this guy is.
Denies. Why won't people believe Korff? Deniers. Maybe because he's a compulsive liar. What's this one here? JFK. Where's the one about nuclear? I thought it was around here.
He's constantly attacked Kevin Brandel.
Yeah.
He claimed Brandel had a false degree. All it was an open university degree, which is actually as good as any degree these days. It wasn't fake at all. Well, that's just another blunder.
Oh, hang on.
This episode.
Okay, we got to sort this volume out.
Here. Is it really true, Cal, that you designed a nuclear bomb when you were a young boy? This is a question from a woman here named Yitka in the Czech Republic. Yitka, it's not true that I designed a nuclear bomb when I was a young boy. I didn't have the raw materials and I wouldn't do that. What I did do is design a nuclear bomb design, engineering-wise, so to speak, and I entered it in a science fair contest. It was technically accurate, and I did win the science fair contest. I had 2 projects.
If he's so brilliant, why can't he sort out his audio issue there? That's my question.
Science fair contest. One placed first, one placed third. The other project was on UFOs. What makes this claim interesting, Yitka, is that, a couple of years ago, word came out again that I had designed a nuclear bomb, a design that was technically accurate years ago when I was 14 years old. And
hang on, you can just Google on the internet and you'll get a nuclear bomb design, even though it won't be fully detailed. You should better research that online.
There'll be tons of patents.
Yeah, so he's saying when he was a little kid, though, I'm not sure what age, but there wouldn't have been internet when he was a little kid, but still.
Yeah, and he's got this flimsy piece of paper in his hand, which you can't possibly read because the resolution's not good enough.
He goes further on, does he?
And if anybody doubts that this is the real thing, well, then they can get off their butts and they can pay money to have a scientific analysis done and they can date this thing. And they'll see that it really is from the event and that it is from the 8th grade science fair and that it's from April 29th, 1976. Yes, that's when I won the award. And I did the nuclear bomb design.
His greatest accomplishment.
For obvious reasons. So it was quite an exciting event to happen as a kid, and it made an impression on me. It was written
Was
in
it
the
a
papers.
bookmark?
I still have some of those clippings here and there. No, they're not on the internet. Most of the newspaper clippings about me, folks, have never been on the internet. That's just a fact. It didn't exist back then, and I'm just not that important. So unless somebody bothers to scan them, and I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I found him like a super egoed person. When I listened to him on Campion's thing, I couldn't listen more than about 15 minutes of it and sort of went on my way. He was blabbing all sorts of things about Roswell, this and that, and I wasn't even agreeing with even a fraction of what he was saying, making claims about. Then he was talking about Betty and Barney Hill at one stage, and then he was talking about the star map. Was that Betty and Barney? The star map, yeah.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
It
well,
was her,
you see, the thing is, ufology is a con. 95% of ufology is a con. So it's really, all he's doing is picking low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Anybody can do that.
Yeah. But Kevin Randall is the one that I went to for the best sources of information. He's the one that exposed the nurse story and the Undertaker, or if it was.
Yeah. Glenn Dennis and the nurse was, originally she was called Naomi Self. The researchers put a tremendous amount of time and resources into finding her. They thought when they first had the name they were really onto a winner, because Naomi Self, that's a very unusual surname. It was spelt S-E-L-F, very unusual. So they thought that they should be able to find her, no problem. But of course, Glenn Dennis had made the damn nurse up, hadn't he?
Yeah. But yeah, just by looking at just looking at this sort of stuff here, why would you believe anything coming out this guy's mouth about anything UFO to start with?
Exactly. Yeah.
So just get rid of that clown there. But there was some other things I had here. Let me just have a look. Okay, this is from his. I'm not sure if she was a wife or ex-girlfriend, but this is what she said. I'm his ex and I caught him lying while in a relationship. He was telling people he works in forensics when he actually works at a grocery store. That's literally current day lying and not even the dodgy history. And then it goes on to another post. He really does do the same MO over and over again with no deliverables. After he was on my channel, say 3 or 4, about his UFO app, and it still was never done. And books, I was like, something isn't right here. So I guess he was making a Google app, was it, for UFO stuff, which never happened. But we know he has written books. What year was this, though? I've got no date on these. But, yeah. He has written quite a few books now. But I wouldn't buy any of them, that's for sure.
No, absolutely not. He was on David Beatty's group. Can't remember what it's called now. Oh, yeah, ATIP, I think it's called. Let me just have a quick check. Yeah, ATIP UAP Task Force Group. I think it's invite only. And he upset everybody on that group, and he's gone now. Someone's got rid of him, or he's left. Billy Meyer.
Let's have a look at what he's done. Anyone can debunk Billy Meyer, is what you're going to say, aren't you? And we could debunk Billy Meyer, you could debunk him, I could. Probably everyone on the side chat could debunk things. So he's written a book here, it's got only 3 stars, is it? So that's not that great. $11.
Yeah, but it's probably him voting, he's probably the only one who bought the book.
Available instantly.
Well, no, 5 stars, so maybe 2 people bought it, I don't know.
Yeah, the Roswell UFO crash, what they don't want you to know. And I wonder what that is.
Oh, it's a lot of nasty stuff about Stanton Friedman and Kevin Randall, and yeah. It's.
Yeah. Have you seen the book? Have you?
He never spoke to any of the first-hand witnesses.
The Making of Bigfoot: The Inside Story. $30 for that one.
I told you about the Patterson Gimlin film, didn't I? I actually listened to and what did he do? He was digging dirt on the people as usual. He wasn't attacking the film itself.
All right.
And it was these witnesses that these names he came out with. God only know who they were, if they even existed. I don't know.
So that's 2004. That's 2000.
Yeah.
What was this first one? 1995. So he's been around for a while.
He has indeed, you know, since the 80s at least.
1981 here. Look, the Maya incident.
Yeah.
Secret Wars. 1 star. 1 star on Maya incident. But then again, he's attacking a cult there, so we expect the cult members to be downvoted him, right? The Bigfoot one, we expect the Bigfoot people to be downvoting him there if they don't agree with his findings. Especially if it's opinion versus facts. And as Art Bell talked about, it's best to be sure on your facts as you end up being slanderous. So that's strange though. I would have expected this one here, the Billy Meyer one, to be 1 star like the other one down here. Secret War. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books. Is that all he's got?
Yeah, you notice how cheap books are as well.
Well, the one with Cambian's not there though. I noticed Stephen Rendell, whatever his name was. So that's not listed on Amazon at all. Just on this list here, which is kind of strange, isn't it?
What? The Stephen Cambian wrote a book with Cal Korff? No.
Yeah, of course he did. On Stephen Rendell's. Yeah.
Stephen Rendell's, right.
Yes. If you type in Cambian...
Stephen Wendell, it is. He was the one that was double convicted for child offences.
There you go.
Wendell Stevens. I knew that didn't sound right. Wendell Stevens, that's right.
What was I saying?
Yeah.
What was I saying?
Stephen,
was it?
Wendell, you got the name the wrong way round. That's all confused me and all.
Alright, so that's the book they wrote in 2020.
CIA's conspiracy again. What? No.
Yeah, that's what the book. That's the Cambian book.
No, man.
5 stars. I don't believe it. There you go. Look.
The guy was guilty of sin.
Yeah, well, obviously there was. You could look up Freedom of Information, the court case records, right, and see all these people. Yeah. The kids saying that he fondled them. All right, he was a PO, PO'd. Well, so it's got one review here, is it? Where's all the reviews?
Okay.
Okay, let's have a look at the reviews here. No reviews. How come it's got 5 stars then? So who gave it 5? That's probably Carl giving them.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you want to read?
There's only one vote, Paul. You can tell there. There's only one vote on the book.
It's been deleted. The book is a definite expose about the CIA's conspiracy against former LT Colonel Wendell Stevens and the claims that the CIA framed Wendell Stevens for several counts of felony child molestation, to which Stevens voluntarily pled guilty. The stunning book proves the truth about the conspiracy rumors and exposes the guilty parties.
Well, I'm
Using
sure the
never
CIA
using hang on using never before published
I see.
criminal case files. Otherwise, they got their hands on case files. But you could do that under Freedom of Information, can't you? Or even court records, because it's all public domain, isn't it?
Even Wendell Stevens, even his wife came out and said that she found out the truth about him in the end.
Yeah. So,
and she was sooner than anybody else.
How many pages is it? Can we find out? Doesn't say anything on that page, does it? All right, 117 pages on that. How could you put all that into 117 pages?
A very small book. As books go, the average size is around about 250 to 280 pages. That's a very small book.
Yeah, but I'm just surprised they can write that much on that case myself.
Yeah, so am I.
Probably wouldn't be selling much nowadays, would it? Let's see.
No.
You probably could look them up. Wendell Stevens Child. Well, I'll just put court cases. Court case. Let's see what comes up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it comes up with their book straight away. Their book again. Their book again. Their book again. Their book again.
I mean, I don't like to do this, even, to be honest, but my personal opinion is the man was guilty. And everybody in ufology really knows that, to be honest.
Yeah, of course. Once you got kids coming out, giving their testimony that they were fondled, that's the nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I suppose a book like that they thought might sell really well because of the controversial aspect to it all.
and
it wasn't just that with Wendell Stevens, even his research was dodgy as well, you know.
So let's just go through some of these posts here. Guess who worked there? Yes, the great thinker and intel analysis Karl Korff. Sounds like he may have been fired, and last year Karl Korff said he was going to expose Dollar Tree, a store chain where just about everything is $1. So he doesn't work there anymore? What's that there? This images, okay. So I guess your Flying Saucer article is built around known liar and fraud Karl Korff, who has posed as a colonel and intelligence officer. Do you not yet vet your sources at who's that? Karl Korff also falsely claims to have been an expert witness in O.J. Simpson's murders. Really?
If his claims never end, honestly, God, man, this guy is just expert witness.
Yeah. Remember the time Karl Korff was accused of using the name of a humanitarian in Prague to steal from an Apple retailer? Listen to Karl Korff talk about it and make outlandish excuses. Well, we won't have a listen, but also known as begging for media attention from anyone, Karl Korff claims to an intel officer, computer pioneer, and forensics consultant. That's true, which it isn't, then why is Karl Korff, a recent dollar store employee, now working at a grocery store? Something doesn't sound right there, does it? You can't have all these quals and still not be employed with them unless something really went wrong, like your health, or you got sacked, or did something really bad that no one will touch.
He'd have to lose all his security clearances, and he's never had a security clearance. Come on, man. Let's be honest now. The guy's just a stand-up joke.
Carl Korff isn't a whistleblower. He filed a complaint. Nobody is being watched by the police. For decades, Carl Korff has threatened he would sue people, have them arrested, and agents from his phony special secret services were following them. Carl is bonkers. What's this one here? I'm not responsible for what people lie and make up about me. You are responsible for lies you help spread about me and link to sites that threaten to kill me and are under police watch. Oh, didn't you know I'm a legally protected whistleblower? You just committed a crime.
All you have to do, pal, is produce some evidence for your claims, and you've never done it.
Yeah, well, if someone questions your qualifications, well, you just scanning your certificates, and job references, and let people read it. Which is I've done as well when I've been questioned about my qualifications by certain people. So what is this one here? Carl Korff still pretending to be some kind of intelligence agent. Only scum like Carl Korff still valor from those who have truly served. I'm sure Carl Korff's 3 viewers, 2 being himself and his mum, will make this band famous. I had the honor of recently meeting this incredible band. Okay, so you mean a hypocrite like you. So who's he talking to there? I suppose you'd have to go through the Twitter tree or something. Please name a single politician who is not more wealthy than most of us, who is not rich and talks about income. Okay, let's just move on. Imagine going through life lying about only to wind up a bigger loser 30 years later. Hi everyone, here's the millionth thing that either goes nowhere or never actually comes out. Carl Korff has a exceedingly large mouth with little to zero follow through. He certainly looks like he's pissed off a few people anyway. Who is Dan Smith? Rumour is that he was a victim of extortion. Care to comment? See, I don't know what all that relates to.
No, do I? No idea.
No. I think I've heard Steve Cambion praise this website. Is he aware of Carl Korff being listed there as being far less than credible? Has Cambion seen this video of Carl Korff flat out lying about being a police consultant?
He's one of them as well. Wow.
Well, that's what he's saying here.
This guy's had an amazing career.
Challenge to prove.
Comment here. If this is a hoax, it's a very poorly done hoax. If I wanted to hoax something like this, I think that I could go anywhere to Hollywood and come up with a hell of a much better hoax than what I see here on this Santilli film.
Yeah, I'd like to know 2 short issues real quickly. How many rolls of film did you purchase that you still have? And why is it that either the right tests haven't been done yet to determine their authenticity forensically? Because I've been and do assist police agencies all across the country in forensic types of evidence, and I study it myself, including photographically, and it seems to me that if all the rolls were turned over to Kodak or the right scientist, by now we'd have a verdict.
Yeah, well, Santilli's a fraud. We know he's a fraud. The alien autopsy film is a hoax.
Yeah. So I guess that's about what it is talking about there.
Yeah.
Autopsy.
I mean, as a hoax goes, Santilli is a better one. He made probably over £1 million, $1 million, whatever, on that film, no question.
Yeah.
But as for the people who actually created it,
yeah,
They didn't make nothing out of it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a court case still going on there with Santilli, you know.
Yeah, you had to be careful using his stuff because he'd always put a copyright claim or a strike on you. Carl Korff lashing out again. All while kissing Stephen Cambion's ass. Carl is sucking up to Cambion as it is his only chance of getting on a show so Carl can reach more than 5 viewers. 6 counting Carl's mummy. Carl Korff. He sounds very much like a goof on, doesn't he? This exactly the same scenario.
I don't know.
Talking
Goof
now.
on seemed normal.
Well, maybe goof on's a wee bit better than Carl, actually. So anyway, I posted that link before. You can go through it all, see if you can make head or tail of it all. But the thing is, now you know a wee bit about Korff. This article come out just before the weekend or over the weekend, and various people like UCR are praising it and saying everybody must read this and it exposes everything, and it's got all these great people in it like Korff.
Well, there's large swathes of that article that are basically on the right lines. We know it was a bit of a phony
of course
thing. I mean, they were going to build a spaceship and he wanted $50 million. You're not going to build anything with $50 million.
No.
You're not going to even build the nose cone of an F-22. Come on, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody.
We were questioning To the Stars long before anyone else.
From the first. I think everybody was questioning.
Yeah. But if we go through this one,
it was a cottage industry until it failed.
Okay, this thing here about most investors, though, haven't seen any apparent returns, as illustrated in part by the consolidated SEC filing for TTSA and To the Stars Incorporated, which shows the two companies as money losers. Indeed, they reported losses of a total of 4.7 million in 2020 and 2021. Now, that was explained because they actually didn't sell all the shares. So when you start up a company, you say you're going to have 1 million shares, right? And they're going to be worth this much each. If you don't sell all those shares, they end up being a debt on the books. So that 4.7 loss was actually those unsold shares. So this is a bit misleading, this report here. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, there would have been some returns if all the shares were sold. Yeah. And if they gain value, which they were trying to do they were trying to do that with the TV show. I thought that's how they're going to get returns on their shares. But yeah, this saying that they made a loss, that loss there is actually just a total bad research. So I'm not even sure why he's included that there. All right. So the problem we heard about, with the first evidence we heard about from them being corrupted, was when what's his name, McGowan, said that they were talking about that he took money out to make a movie. He used the funds, all the share funds, towards his own movie, which is illegal. You can't just dip into the company's bank account for your own purposes. So that's when we first knew there was fraud happening. And of course, if that movie doesn't get completed, or you don't sell it, or I don't think there's no movie that Tom DeLonge made, right? So it still hasn't. So where'd all that money go? So obviously that's been sucked down, hiring actors and FX makers and all that sort of stuff for the movie, and it probably run out of money to complete it. So all that money, investor money, would have been stolen, basically. Are you there? You've gone quiet.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. So that was an inaccuracy in the article here, but you can see it's full of talking about Korff did this, did that. 22 references of Korff there. So these are meant to be from Karl Korff. There was no way that investors could ever recoup their money. Well, I think most of us knew that as soon as we heard they were selling shares, that you probably couldn't sell those shares back because it was the whole thing sounded dodgy.
Let me just say something now. Who is Art Levine and where did he come from? So I've done a little bit of research on him, just honest to God, quarter of an hour, 20 minutes, and he's made his money in mental health. There's nothing about him in the UFO field.
That's the guy that wrote the article there, by the way. Yeah, there's probably going to be a few of these people, is it?
You need to check your spelling there, Paul.
I need to check my eyes.
Yeah.
Is that him, though? I don't know who he is, because there's going to be...
No, just type in Art Levine mental health.
Are you sure that's him, though?
Yeah.
How Corruption Lacks Oversight. It's an Amazon book.
Mm-hmm.
You sure that's him?
Yeah.
So there's a picture of him there?
Yeah.
Well, he seems to think Korff is pretty good. And,
hold on a second. Now I'll tell you what he was saying relates to mental health. He's saying all this stuff now that's going on in the UFO field could lead people into cultish beliefs and could result in suicides, religious kind of cultism, and what have you. So that's how it relates to his mental health side of the story. Like that's the only connection I could really make. And if you look over the article, and it's a long-winded article, you can see that's where he's coming from.
Let me just check UFOs, see if he comes up.
Not a lot.
This is Twitter feed, is it?
Yes, he has got a Twitter account, yeah.
So that's got to be him there, probably. Yep, same thing, mental health. And has it got the article here? All right, he's doing Mick West.
Told you it was him.
Yeah, it looks like him.
Yeah.
Green streak.
Yeah. Shermer and Mick West were other people that he quoted in his article.
Yep, Shermer. So he seems to like Shermer and Mick West and Korff, all the debunkers basically, right?
Yeah.
So he's going to have a biasedness, I'd say then.
Obviously.
And you can't write here's the article here. So he's added quite a lot of posts since July 22nd, right? So what's it say here? How media sensationalism, hunger for clickbait articles and ratings, and the abandonment of journalistic standards. So he's going to be knocking the hell out of what's that? What's her name?
David. Is it David Crouch? Is that what you
say? the one that married was dating Bob Hopkins. What's her name?
Oh, good God! Oh my God!
The name slips my brain.
Yeah, Leslie Kane.
Leslie Kane. Is it Kane or Keen?
It's spelled Keen, pronounced Kane.
Yeah, that's confusing, isn't it? So it's definitely him. And how long has he been doing the UFO stuff? Okay, so
I don't know. The first time I've heard of him. With that article, I should say. I don't follow Twitter. I've still got an account, but I don't bother.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think this second hearing is it, or was it the third hearing now on the leakers, whistleblowers?
No, it's not.
Going to result.
Well, yeah. Look, we've got 3 guys, and we've heard them all before. You've got David Crouch. He's going to testify. You've got David Traver, and the other one is the other pilot. That's gone now. It's Ryan Graves.
Yeah, that's him. I was trying to think of it too.
So you know, we've heard all these guys before. So, but are the public going to tune in? If it increases awareness, then I've got no problem. But I've got a bit of a problem with some of the stuff that Bruce has been saying. But let's see what he actually under oath, because it's going to be under oath, and that's important. Tell lies under oath, and you can go jail.
Well, what has me is all these newcomers seem to come out of nowhere. UCR come out of nowhere. This guy, Art's come out of nowhere, left field. Lou Elizondo come out of nowhere and was telling a load of lies, as we now know. And all those pilots suddenly come out of nowhere. Started it with Fravor, then we've got everybody else popping up. And now they all run their own podcasts. It's just crazy, this UFO stuff. Now they're all sort of experts. You got Chris Lato, claiming to be a video expert.
God.
Oh my God!
Yeah, even had Stephen Greer on recently, and he's a big advocate of Greer now.
Dr.
And
Greer,
got
he loves.
You've got that UFO podcast. There's just too many of them.
You know, and
they're all towing the company line. If you don't toe the company line, like if you're anti Luzondo, then things tend to go a bit pear-shaped for you, as Lou Jimenez found out. Which I respect Lou for calling out hard questions there, but I don't respect what he's done since, just because he got his fingers burnt with a few UFO celebs. You know, as a result, now he's trying to throw in the whole field of ufology under the bus, because he got his fingers burnt and he didn't make the money he wanted to, and gain the popularity he wanted to.
So this article really is pretty much all common sense in it, right? And people are just repeating what they've heard. Even this Korff is just repeating the thing. Has he actually got any information that he did himself in this from the Security Act? who's the one? Who's the people that actually got the sick complaint and all that?
Well,
I don't think.
Apparently he's sending letters, and he's trying to get to the bottom of where all the money's gone. I mean, I don't know, but have we seen any evidence? Have we seen any figures? No.
So while the Washington Speculator has not confirmed each allegation in the nearly 2,000 pages in Korff's sick complaint against TTSA. Was it him that filed a complaint against it, or was it someone else?
Korff. No, Korff.
It has confirmed. No, I thought someone tried to get their funds out. I don't think Korff would have bought shares in TTSA, would he?
No. When he's saying here and other agencies concerning waste and fraud, what he means there is any UAP program that's been financed, should be held accountable, because the UFOs aren't real, so why study them? And then he goes on about people like Hal Puthoff, who was a bit of a crackpot scientist, to be honest, studying remote viewing.
Yeah, I don't like him at all.
Yeah, other stuff like that. Well, yeah, he was a Scientologist, wasn't he?
Yeah. Yeah. He got done by Uri Geller, so that was me straight off him. But I don't think it was him that put the complaint
in. Ingo Swan as well was another one he took to heart. So yeah, I mean that's all kind of Bigelow's boys, isn't it?
Yeah, I kind of remember it was someone else that put a complaint in against TTSA to try and get their shares back or something. But I never really paid much attention to it because I knew it was all a bit of a scam job in the first place, and I didn't really want to waste my brain cells on it and concentrate on the real UFO stuff instead and look at the videos supporting the
person who's got more money on this than anybody is Tom DeLonge.
Yeah, I
think he has to pay wages there.
Yeah, I think Tom DeLonge might be in the shit.
Yep. It's why he started touring again, obviously, to recoup some of the money, I suppose.
Yeah, so what's all the name drops he got hit in this article? There was quite a few, wasn't there?
Yeah, I think we've spent long enough on this now, anyway.
Yeah, I think so.
Because the resolution's good, nobody can see it, you're skimming down, it's taking a while to focus on it, so you're just picking out random bits and it's not coherent, Paul.
Yeah, they're
so he's picking up
it on
cash there. Trinity cash did turn out to be a hoax, didn't it? I think the work of Dean Johnson was very good, so I've got no problem with him bringing that up. It's just the article is hit and miss all the way through.
Yeah. We're talking about Mellon here, and Alison Bow, and David Grush now. But we've always said there's a nothing burger of all those guys. I thought maybe Chris Mellon, maybe early on when he was talking about TR3Bs and Triangle Craft, that the corners... what was he saying about it? That the corner, because it creates 3 points, it's good for mapping stuff under the ground.
Geological survey, yeah.
Yeah, saying it might be some sort of DARPA Black Ops machine to detect stuff underground. Who knows? Maybe that's what it was designed for. Maybe they fly over Russia and see, or over Middle East and see if there's any hidden storages of radioactive materials, right? Or gold and all that sort of stuff.
I'm not sure. I don't want to go into that now, but no. I'm not 100% sure. I'm far from sure that the triangles are man-made at all. Although you have to hold the possibility out.
Well, Mellon seemed to have a wee bit more sense in his brain than Lou Elizondo to me. But because all these guys are ex-government...
Well, yeah, just look at his background.
Yeah, the background of these people, they're dodgy. And the disinformation. So, of course, he's going to say, oh, the Triangle Craft are not aliens, but most likely ours for doing underground surveillance over countries or whatever. Anyway, we'll just move on.
Yeah.
The links are on the side there, guys. Go and read the article for yourself. See what you think of it. Now you know who Korff is, whether you believe what he has to say is another question. Okay, so we covered that one. Oh, the mouse is locked. I forgot to put it on charge. I knew I forgot something. So, Senate's Intelligence Operation Bill questions reverse engineering. Okay, I think we did cover that one, didn't we? Close that one. And that was that search we did. Get rid of that one. Okay, so we can move on to the next topics. Any links you want to post up?
Yeah, there's actually. That's what I wanted to do first. We're moving on to. We're moving on to Roswell now, aren't we?
Yep. It's all yours.
Okay.
Take it. Off you go.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sure. The first thing I want to do is play the original ABC News radio report of the Roswell UFO crash at New Mexico, July the 8th. Now, it's important to listen to this closely, especially when they're describing the wreckage. I think that's important.
Yeah, I think why we're doing this Roswell thing is because we had like Gabba Beast TV, Gabbaroo, saying that there was definitely alien bodies recovered, and he's listening to Dr. Suller and a few other shills in ufology that are saying that bodies were reclaimed. So you're going to do a recap.
Well, that's what I'm basically doing today, is looking at the body side of it. I mean, the Roswell in its entirety is such a big case, and it's got so many names involved and so many moving parts that I only want to cover the bodies part now. Maybe the best witnesses to the bodies. Okay, but first of all, have a listen to that now, the original broadcast, and listen to them describing the wreckage. That's most important.
Well, you haven't posted it in the side or hit the enter key, or it hasn't gone.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's there.
No. My one's at the bottom there.
Paul, don't I need to be a moderator to post stuff? Links. I was one. I don't know why I'm not anymore.
Because Gabba caused a lot of trouble. That's why.
What the hell did you take me off for?
I just got rid of all of them. It's just easier.
God.
Let me just see. How do we do it? Okay, there you go.
Okay, can you see it now? Do we need to post it again?
Not seeing it. Still not there.
Okay. Let me try again.
It's kind of stupid how Google block it if you're not a moderator. It should be like make a person a special poster or something. Yeah, it's there now.
Okay.
Do we need to do anything funny with the video? Or are we going to get copyright claim?
It's a 1947 news broadcast. You can play. That's fine, Paul.
Well, if it's news, then it should be all right.
Yeah.
How was it? 3 minutes? I'm just going to head off to the toilet. I'll be back.
Okay.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army. Army officers say the missile, found sometime last week, has been inspected at Roswell, New Mexico, and sent to Wright Field, Ohio, for further inspection. Late this afternoon, a bulletin from New Mexico suggested that the widely publicized mystery of the flying saucers may soon be solved. Army Air Force officers reported that one of the strange discs had been found and inspected sometime last week. Our correspondents in Los Angeles and Chicago have been in contact with Army officials endeavoring to obtain all possible late information. Joe Wilson reports to us now from Chicago.
The Army may be getting to the bottom of all this talk about the so-called flying saucer. As a matter of fact, the 509th Atomic Bomb Group headquarters at Roswell, New Mexico, reports that it has received one of the discs which landed on a ranch outside Roswell. The disc landed at a ranch at Corona, New Mexico, and the rancher turned it over to the Air Force. Rancher W.W. Brazell was the man who discovered the saucer. Colonel William Blanchard of the Roswell Air Base refuses to give details of what the flying disc looks like. In Fort Worth, Texas, where the object was first sent, Brigadier General Roger Ramey says that it is being shipped by air to the AAF Research Center at Wright Field, Ohio. A few moments ago, I talked to officials at Wright Field, and they declared that they expect the so-called flying saucer to be delivered there, but that it hasn't arrived as yet. In the meantime, General Ramey describes the object as being of flimsy construction, almost like a box kite. He says that it was so battered that he was unable to determine whether it had a disc form, and he does not indicate its size. Ramey says that so far as can be determined, no one saw the object in the air, and he describes it as being made of some sort of tinfoil. Other Army officials say that further information indicates that the object had a diameter of about 20 to 25 feet, and that nothing in the apparent construction indicated any capacity for speed, and that there was no evidence of a power plant. The disc also appeared too flimsy to carry a man. Now, back to Taylor Grant in New York.
There was important activity within the UN Security Council today.
Yeah. So, it was flimsy construction like tinfoil paper.
Mm-hmm.
But yet, he said it was about 25 feet in diameter. But according to Jesse Marcel, the wreckage was spread over 3/4 of a mile in length and about 400 meters or 1/4 of a mile wide. Now, and again, he said that there was nothing sizable in the wreckage. The largest piece was around about 2.5 feet. So right from the get-go now, there's contradictions in the story, isn't there? And the only thing that's consistent is the material like a tin foil, which they could bend and scrunch up, and it would return to its normal size.
That sounds like Mylar, doesn't it?
Hmm?
That sounds very much like Mylar.
It does. Yeah, it does. It sounds like, but then again, he said the disc was 25 feet in diameter. Oh, you know, and that's the original source, and it's confusing then. You know, I really don't know what to make of this case anymore. I just don't, you know.
No.
But having said that, because Mark Brazel took the wreckage into, he took pieces of it into a hardware store. And he also took it to his neighbours. And I think there was something like 35 or 36 people who handled that material. And they all said that it was some kind of a memory metal.
Yeah.
Coincidentally enough, come 1948, the US government started spending an awful lot of money on the research into nitinol. Nickel titanium, which is recovery metal. So they did. But
normally you have to heat that. You have to heat that to get it to react, though.
Yeah, but this didn't need that. This was a step ahead.
Yeah, this
according
is...
to
Yeah, yeah.
this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we looked at that called the NASA rover wheels, and they were using that Ninatal, or whatever it's called, memory metal.
Ethanol, yeah.
Yeah. Where you can make punctureless tires basically for bicycles and stuff, or cars actually. You probably didn't watch. You probably didn't see that on my live show, but I played a clip of it.
I think it's used in some aircraft design now as well, isn't it, ethanol?
Yeah. So it's going to be a bigger thing used in future, actually, memory metals, especially in space.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, when you listen to that original broadcast, it doesn't sound like aliens, does it?
No, sounds very much like man-made technology there, or because Mylar wasn't meant to be invented till 1948 either, but it doesn't mean that there wasn't prototypes being used in experiments previously. So
yeah. So where was the main wreckage, and what was this 25-foot disc? Was that the second? Was that the second crash site? I don't know.
Yeah,
it's so hard to tell. The second crash site, I've looked for as much information on that as I can find.
Yeah,
there's not a lot to it.
No,
there was a so-called Plains of Augustine. That was another site, and the two witnesses for that were Barney Barnett and Gerald Anderson. Now, Anderson was found to be a total fake. You can find his interview. He was 5 years old, and he reckons he remembered these alien bodies, and even believes he's seen Barney Barnett, who was the other witness there at the time, which is a remarkable kind of memory for a 5-year-old. But it turns out he ended up faking documents, including a phone bill. And he's on the Navy SEALs Hall of Shame, claimed to be a Navy SEAL, and he was charging people extortionate money for combat training, and he'd never been in the forces at all, let alone a SEAL.
Yeah, and of course, before the Roswell crash, there was the Arnold sighting, and also the Rhodes sighting here of the photographs that he took. People were saying that he was a professor or something, and they were saying that he faked it, but I don't think so. I think this might have been...
I don't think it's a genuine photo.
You don't think it's a genuine photo?
I do think it's a genuine photo.
Oh, you do. You do. Yeah, I think it's genuine too, and it looks like it's a flying wing of some sort, not a UFO to me.
You see it on the left, and on the left there, you could see how that would easily be mistaken for a disc as well.
Yeah, and of course, if you go to the Arnold drawings, what's his name? Kenneth Arnold.
Kenneth Arnold. But the only thing, the one at the front was crescent shaped, like this we're looking at now.
Yeah.
But the ones at the back were like discs.
So
there was 9 of them in total.
Yeah, so he saw 2 things, but one looked very much like Rhodes' one, which was the leader of the other. These are the other flying wings. But where's his drawing? Here. Is that the one? Looks like a similar type, a capital D, and the other ones look like, what do you call it, crescent, this one here. Oh, here's one. Here's a better picture. Here's his original drawing. So you compare that to Rhodes' one. It's got the same sort of shape, but it's going the other direction, of course.
It's all about angle of view.
Yeah, so you got little inserts going in here. It looks like a D, but if you go back to the other guy's one, it looks exactly the same. Why is it not coming up properly? Let me just reload that. Looks exactly the same, but it's going the other way around. So there, but you can see it's banked here, so you can't actually see that side. That's other side the same. But yeah, if you just take that one and flip it, it's more accurate, I think. It looks very similar to the one design that Arnold saw. So we go back to his one again. It looks very similar, you see. But he said there was one of those, and there was the other ones.
8 of the other ones, yeah.
8 of the other ones, yeah, these ones here.
But another thing to take into account is very unusual movements. That's where the whole saucer thing came from. He said they were basically moving up and down like this as they were travelling. That's very odd. That's really odd, that. Which he described as saucers skipping along the water. Yeah. And hence, he was misquoted, and he was said to have seen flying saucers.
So we still can't rule out this being the paperclip Nazi scientists.
Oh no, I don't believe any of that. Yeah, I don't believe any of that at all. I've looked into that Nazi flying saucer bullshit. I don't believe a second of it.
No, I'm not saying flying saucers. I'm saying flying wings. Totally different.
Yeah. At the speed they were travelling, no, I just don't believe anything.
If you have a look at the Nazi flying wings, there are some that actually look like a D shape, right? Nazi.
Yeah, they were jet propelled, for God's sakes.
So it's got the same inserts
going. But that's a solid, but it's a solid metal structure. Now that was the whole reason why I wanted you to play the original broadcast of what they found. They said it was like tinfoil.
No, I'm just talking about. I'm just talking about Arnold's and Rhodes sighting. I'm not saying that was the craft. I'm not saying that was the craft that crashed in Roswell. I'm just saying that was 2 weeks before the Roswell crash, was these sightings in the photograph. Yeah. All right. But you can see here, it looks very similar to what Arnold saw. You got the D-shaped ones happening, and you got the flying wing ones happening.
Yeah, it doesn't explain the strange flight pattern, though.
No. But again, it's all experimental, so who knows? That's the problem. But if you go back to Rhodes one, I think that was in 1947. Where's the Wikipedia on him? This one here, July 47, was it? There we go. Reportedly taken on July 7th, 1947. When did the Roswell thing happen? 2 weeks
July
after?
8th. No, July 8th. The announcement was July 8th. The general consensus is that Mac Brazel found the wreckage on the Foster Ranch, either on the 3rd or the 4th of July.
Yeah. Anyway,
anything I don't understand, it was some kind of experimental plane that crashed at Roswell. They could have put that to bed easily now. It wouldn't be top secret anymore. And they could have just told us. And instead, they came out with that ridiculous story of Project Mogul, when there was no balloon launch, there was no Mogul launch. But then they tried to explain the bodies by crash test dummies that weren't even used.
Well, another theory was, I'm not sure if it was my theory or not, but one theory was that maybe one of those flying wings was being test flown and it flew into a Mogul balloon by pure mistake, and that's 2 objects come down and crashed.
Yeah, but that's something that they could easily have told us about.
You reckon they would have come clean on flying wing?
Yeah, because that conference they did, Roswell case closed. That was in the 1990s. There was no flying wing then. It would have been top secret then.
When did the B-52? That was a flying stealth wing. That only come out not that long
ago. It's out in the open now. It's out in the open.
Yeah, it's out in the open now. But it was 20 years in secret, though, is it? B2.
Oh, about 780 as well.
Unannounced. Time flies, I know. The pun. First results reported. When did it get released? Originally offered in 1939? No. Oh, they're talking about... Here it is here. 1999.
That's the B2 Spirit. I don't think that's the B-52, is it?
Not the B-52. I was talking about the B-2. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, right, I got you.
When was that first leaked out? 1987? Produced in 1987, but when was it first released to the public? Wasn't that long ago, was it?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it will say here.
Hold on. Let me have a little look.
But yeah, Lockheed Martin always seems to have their finger in the pie there. Yeah, we probably could use.
Officially released April 1997.
97, was it? I was going to ask the AI chat here. Let's see. When was B-2 bomber? Is it a bomber or fighter? Bomber, isn't it? Announced.
That's a good one.
This server agrees with you. Well, maybe I should have said public or something.
Maybe you should have said bomber instead of bunker. You probably.
I'm sorry, I couldn't find. Sometimes it's able to. When was the B-2 bomber announced publicly? Well, the AI is not clever enough as you to work out my spelling mistakes, obviously, Robert.
Yeah, it should have auto corrected that.
There you go. What did you say? 22nd of November, 1988?
Yeah, I got 1987, so...
Ah. Well, there you go. How come you got 87, though?
Yeah, I got a specific date as well. April 1987.
How come it's so different to your one, then? I thought it would
be well, it's only a year out, but...
Still... I suppose it depends what source it gets it from. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And its first flight was July 1989. That's obviously its first official flight, yeah.
Yeah. And this is a wee bit long too. Let's get that down a bit. Yeah, we can always use that, you know. Sometimes it saves us searching lots of websites. It's coming quite handy, actually. Anyway, carry on.
Yeah, well, we'll move on now to the bodies and you know, who are the best witnesses for the bodies, and there's not many of them, Paul. Well, I'll post the first one for you. It's Captain Oliver W. Pappy Henderson, and unfortunately, it's not first-hand. Right, what am I doing now?
Is that the one the children were told by their father? Was that the one in UK? Was it in UK?
No, we're going to get on to him.
Okay. My dad's stirring up the dog next door. I'm not sure if you can hear.
You can just about hear it, yeah.
The noise cancellation does a pretty good job. So we got a link there. Okay.
Yep. But I could easily explain it to you. There's not much to go into. But yeah, have a little look if you want.
Okay. Captain Oliver W. Peppy.
Yeah, known as Papa Henderson, yeah.
What a name.
So you can see the affidavits have come from... Ooh, blurred again. Okay, scroll down.
You shouldn't be blurring.
Scroll down. There you go, and there we go. Whoa. Yeah, you can see, whoa. Yeah, so affidavit, Henderson's wife. Affidavit, Mary Greer, Henderson's daughter. And another one from John Cromschroeder, Henderson's friend and business partner. So it's second hand, but it's good. It's decent.
Okay.
So Henderson was apparently flying the wreckage from Fort Worth to Wright-Patterson. And the cargo, he must have had a look at it. He said they were little guys. There's no interviews out there. And it is second hand.
Yeah, but when did he say it was little guys? Because that makes a difference, because back then there's no internet. There wasn't really many books on it, if any books on it, on aliens.
When?
That's what I'm saying. The timelines make a difference. So if the witness said, oh, they had big black eyes and they're 3 foot tall, before Alien Grey is now, folklore or whatever you want to call it.
Well, hold on a second now. All we know, this is what the witnesses have said. Well, the second-hand witnesses. All we were told by Pappy is that he flew the plane to Wright Field, which is now Wright-Patterson. He definitely mentioned the bodies, but I don't remember any of the details, except they were very small and different. Pappy was quite serious. That's quoted by Stanton Friedman and Don Burl in a crash at Corona 1992.
Yeah, so that was the early
Springfield,
years of internet.
got in touch with McCarthy. Yeah. So that's one of your best witnesses. And unfortunately, it's second hand.
Yeah, like if you had a video of him saying that on video, right, and it's like 1947 footage before the internet and before anyone knew about little grey aliens, that would be more legit. It would feel more first hand then, because then you'd have it on video. But having someone hear the story from him and then relay it, it's no better than David Grush, right? So it's just second hand again.
Yeah. Moving on.
Well, yeah. Whatever you want to do.
So yeah, next one is Neville Brown, and that's who you're talking about. And it was his daughters and his wife again who heard the story, first hand from them, but to us it's second hand. So I don't know if you want to play some of this.
Well, we've played it before, I guess, but we can just redo it. Yeah.
Yeah, we can. You can redo some of it. I suppose we'll have to stop it every now and again.
Yeah.
But they certainly come over as sincere to me. Whoa, good God, that's enough to give you fits. The screen's gone mad.
Is it? Maybe drop in and drop back in and out again?
Hold on.
You're on wireless there. You always have problems. I never have any trouble with people that are on physical cable. Now, it's a bit of a shame that they didn't actually videotape him or tape him on audio saying this stuff.
Oh, I know.
And it's very
It never has,
disappointing.
it never has the same value. Okay, I better drop out.
I was married, 18.
Are you dropping out?
Yeah, I'll drop out and come back in.
Yep. We'll wait till he gets back in again. This one's at least a wee bit better, the video, because you got the people talking about it. Here he is. You're back again. Is it any better?
That's cleaned.
Cleaned it up. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll just play this then.
15 years, and now divorced. I've got 4 children, 2 lovely girls, 2 lovely boys.
When were you born?
3rd of May 1958, 38.
Where were you born?
I was born in Hemel Hempstead, actually.
So you lived in Hemel Hempstead all the time?
In and out of Hemel Hempstead, just out of the way a little bit, you know. My dad was in the American Air Force, and he didn't have like a council house or anything, so we had like private houses, you know. So we moved quite a bit.
Do you have any brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I've got 2 sisters, one older, one younger, Harriet and Kathleen.
Is your father and your mother alive?
My mum's alive. My dad died in February 1986.
Right. You've got quite an extraordinary story to tell, haven't you?
Well, the story, I suppose, to everybody else is extraordinary, yeah. But the way it came about is more extraordinary to me, not the actual story, because I have to believe it. My dad was such a very truthful man that, you know, and when we were kids, he would reward us rather than punish us for telling the truth. If we'd done something bad, you know, we'd go to him and say straight away, "Look, Dad, we've done this," and he'd pat us on the back saying, "Good for coming to tell me, but you shouldn't have done it," you know. So he was a very truthful man. Very, he loved his country. The only reason he didn't go back to his own country is because my mother was very ill.
The United States?
The United States, yeah. Was ill, and she couldn't be away from her family. They had to come back to England and settle down here. So he got transferred back to England. But they did go to Florida, and that's where my eldest sister was born.
Mm-hmm. What was he in the army?
He was just a cook, for goodness sake. That's all. I mean, he wasn't anything else. You know, I suppose anyone who was there was grabbed to go out and stand guard duty and muck in sort of thing. I think the first time I ever heard his story was the landing on the moon. I think that was 1969, is it? 69? Is that right? Yep. He made us all sit and watch it, yeah. And we weren't really interested. We were only little. I think I was about, it must have been about 9, 10, something like that. And he made us all sit and watch it, and then he told us this story about how when he was stationed out in the desert in America, he'd seen a crashed disc, and we never, at that age, didn't take much notice.
A crashed disc?
Yeah, he said that, well, UFO, I suppose. Mm-hmm. And he said that, he didn't tell us the story in detail then when we were really young, but he said that Daddy'd seen one and they're real, that type of thing. And as we got older, he told us all the story about half a dozen times or so, no more than about a dozen, I would say. Every time, say, something really sort of, I suppose, jerked his memory in the paper, or he'd seen something on television, he'd tell us this story. It always went the same way, and my sisters would tell it the same way as well.
Had your
really bad audio on most of these, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it does clear up a little bit towards the end. The one thing she said there, again, it was a crashed disc.
Yeah, I noticed.
It doesn't describe this tinfoil substance that was mentioned in the original broadcast. So that's kind of a little bit off-putting, very confusing, that for me. It really is. It's hard to piece together what actually happened at all. Another thing is that the father was a cook.
Yeah, I know.
But then again, he was only guarding the bodies, so if he was to be a little bit insubordinate and take a peek, I suppose it's plausible. But yeah, not a high-ranking guy, is he?
No.
I don't know.
Well, if you think about it, if a UFO has a tinfoil type skin on it, it's possible.
Yeah.
But it might be not really thin stuff, as you think. Everybody thinks of tinfoil being thin. It might actually be like fairly thick. You know, it might be 5 millimeters or 8 millimeters thick, and it bends, right? So it crumples up. So,
well, that's not what was being described. They said it was as thin as anything you could imagine. You know the tinfoil you get in a cigarette packet. That's how Jesse Marcel described it.
Right. So yeah.
And he was the first-hand witness.
Yeah, would you have that on your alien spacecraft? I don't know. If it's really thin and super strong, I don't see why not. But the thing is, it may consist of several of these layers, right? It might be a layer inside a layer inside a layer.
This is it. Now going back to the original crash site again, a guy called Bud Payne, he took. He was a High Court judge, by the way. He took Kevin Randall out to the site of the crash, and he said there was a gouge where something seemed to have skipped.
Yeah.
Okay? Maybe there is a second crash site. But Jesse Marcel said there was no gouge.
Yeah.
And whatever happened, Marcel was convinced it blew up in the air. So again, we've got another contradiction.
Yeah. Yes, that's the whole thing with the Roswell thing. It's such a mess, really, isn't it? Yeah. When a video would clear up it just like that, if the military said, "Oh, here's a video off the crash site," that would have been just amazing, wouldn't it?
Well, I'm absolutely certain there would have been video taken.
Exactly, and why haven't they released it in that case? They said it's closed book. To close book, you would have to bring out the videos that were taken and the samples and all that sort of stuff, and there it is, and lay it out. So I reckon.
And don't send any photos. That is the first thing you do. You go out to a crash scene. You've got a photographer. I know a guy who used to do it at my local RJF Valley place. Every time there was an incident, he'd be there as a photographer. I didn't ask him if they took video, but he was a qualified photographer, but he didn't want any mistakes. Do you know what I mean?
So, if you're going to do a press conference and say this is what it really was, you would have the original photographs of the videos of the crash scene, and then you'd bring out a video of one that isn't crashed and compare it and say, well, there you go, there's a bit that bit on the ground here matches this bit here on the original craft, and then everybody would believe you. But because they didn't do that, no one believes that it was a Mogul balloon, right? Because that wasn't presented. And like you said, there has to be video as well as photograph, as well as audio tapes and witness accounts. All that's got to be there. How come they haven't released it?
It's got to be there.
Has to be there.
But according to them, they've destroyed all the evidence illegally, by the way. It was Robert Schiff that found that out. Or that's what they told him.
Yeah.
All the Roswell files have been destroyed. I doubt it.
Well, that's a damn shame if it was. And why would you destroy them?
If you knew someone was coming looking for it, maybe you would.
Yes. Which means it's a cover-up.
There's too many places to hide it. They could have moved it. I mean, Schiff, that's a story in itself, a story within a story. He was a congressman that lived in New Mexico. Actually, I'm not sure if he was a senator or congressman, but he was very well connected. And of course, living in the Roswell area, he was constantly getting letters from people who believed, that the crash was real, and could he look into it? I was skeptical at first. He decided to look in, and every time he started getting somewhere, he found there was a roadblock, and he ended up thinking, my God, there must be something to this, because he couldn't get anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, despite it being a powerful man with all his connections, Roswell was it was out of limits.
Yeah.
So who knows? It was alien.
Yeah. So it's a disc shape that was made of tinfoil. But how deep and big was it? You said it was so many feet long, but how high was it?
Yeah, 25 feet diameter.
Yeah, and how high? Has anyone said?
I had never heard that. I've never seen that figure.
No, nor have I. So that's why I asked you. Because that makes a difference. Because if they were small beings, then it would have to be at least their height plus some, right? For them to even get inside it. Because I don't think they would bend over, to crawl inside and sit in a seat. Because that sounds a wee bit loony. But then now we got strange stories with David Grush, wasn't it? Was it he saying it was like a TARDIS, where it's bigger inside than outside?
Come on, I don't know about that. I really don't know about that.
No, I think that's just crazy. But that would explain how it could be small and they could get inside it. But yeah, I think that's just sci-fi myself. But if it's true, we want to see video evidence of that. Then in that case, anyway, we'll carry on with the interview here.
Yeah.
Dad ever talked about UFOs before '69?
Never talked about them any other time apart from when he told this story.
In '69?
No, not even to my mum or anybody. He always told the story the same way. He used to say, Daddy's seen a flying disc. It was in the desert. He said all available men were grabbed and they all had to go out into the desert and stand in a ring around this crashed disc. He did tell one of my uncles that it was at an angle into the sand, buried into the sand. Just remember that bit. But he always told us that they were told to look but not look, not to take anything in, or they get into a lot of trouble. And he said, and then he had to sit on the back of a truck, and me and my sisters can't remember if they had dry ice in those days or if it was ordinary ice, but some sort of ice in the truck. And they couldn't understand why. Him and another guy had to sit in the truck with guns, and they were told not to look under the tarpaulin. But if you knew my dad, he would have had a sneaky look. And he did, and he said he saw these bodies. Now, when I think he said 2. But I think my sister says 3. So it's just memory. Like I said, he never told the story very often. And we used to giggle, like crazy, and say, go on, what were they like? Was it scary? And he used to say, hell no. He said they looked like, they had friendly faces. He said they looked a little bit Asiatic looking, he said. Slanted eyes, much, much bigger heads than we had, to go with the rest of their body in proportion, They looked about 4 foot tall. And he used to say they looked yellowish, but apparently anybody else who saw the bodies always says grey. But remember, the tarpaulin is going to be a green colour. So whether or not it's just where he was under the...
So that's very interesting there, that they're not typical alien greys that she's describing there. They've got yellow skin, and they've got Chinese, what's she saying? Slitty eyes. So they're not even typical alien greys then.
No, which is kind of a good sign, because the alien grey by then was in popular culture.
Yeah. And of course that means what happened to those ones with the slit eyes? Because we don't hear often about slit eye aliens anymore. So maybe they haven't come to visit Earth again. See, we have more questions than answers as usual. So that means there's multiple species of aliens visiting Earth then in that case.
Yeah.
You know, the truck cover. And he said that they definitely didn't look human. They weren't human at all. And,
were they naked bodies?
He didn't say. That's all he used to say, really.
This was where?
Well, he never used to say. He used to say out in the desert.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until after he died that we realised it was the Roswell crash.
Oh, right. So he never actually said Roswell?
No, never, ever. No, we'd never heard of the place.
Right. And did he ever give a date?
Nope.
As to when this happened?
Nope.
He just basically said that there was...
Well, he was sworn to secrecy, but he always finished up by saying, whatever you do, don't tell anyone you get Daddy into.
How's she know it was the Roswell crash, though? Because now we've heard other crashes happened. It could have been another crash site.
No, it's a fact that Neville Brown was at Roswell at that time.
Ah, right, okay.
Yeah, beyond any question.
Yeah.
No problem.
So, of course, we never did. He did say that another time he had to stand guard duty outside a hangar where a crash disc was stored, and his commanding officer came up and said, "Come on, Brownie, let's have a look inside." But everything was packed up and ready to be flown out to Texas the next morning, so they didn't see anything.
Do you think he decided to talk about it in '69?
Well, I think I don't know, perhaps he was waiting to see something on the moon. I suppose everyone was waiting to see if there was anything up there, you know. I can't remember watching his face or whether he was disappointed or excited or what, but...
And what were your feelings when he told you this at the time? Do you remember?
No, I was only about 9 or 10, I think, so... Giggly, really. Just giggly.
Did you used to ask him to tell the story again?
Well, not until I was a teenager. And then Close Encounters of the Third Kind came out on television. Didn't see it in the pictures, but on television. And I remembered Dad's story, and I thought, wow, you know, go down to my dad's. Went down to my dad's house. And I said, you've got to watch this film, because it might be something like you told us about. He watched the film, went down the next day, and to my disappointment, he said it was a load of SHIT. He said it was nothing like what he'd seen. And I tried to question him. That's the first time I'd ever tried to question him, right? And he got angry and said, look, I've told you enough, I can't tell you any more, don't pester me. That's all you need to know. But what makes me angry is that he had to carry that bloody thing with him all those years, you know? No hell, you know? That's what upsets me. All those years, I mean, 20 odd years he was in the Air Force, Army and then Air Force. And no counselling, as far as I can see, no pat on the back or anything.
Apart from that the promotion.
This is 7th of May 1948. Recommendation for promotion to enlisted man. And
I
see this is quite long here, so we shouldn't really play all of it, Robert.
No. We can go near the end. I think maybe the other sister and Neville's wife. No, you need to go near the end.
Yeah, maybe.
There we go. Yeah.
No. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us about Roswell and your dad.
Well, it's sort of when we were little, we used to come out with a silly story.
What story?
Well, about a UFO crashing. Really, all he used to say is, well, he said, I saw one once. And we used to say, well, what's that then, Dad? And he used to say, well, when I was at the station there, out in the desert, he said that one crashed and that they all had to go out to it. And I said, well, did they tell you what it was? He said, no, we didn't know what it was until sort of afterwards. But when they got there, they all had to stand in a circle. He had to get on the back of a truck. And he got on the back of the truck, which they put the bodies inside. And he looked underneath when he shouldn't have. Then they went back to the base. He went in with somebody, I don't know whether it was a colonel or whoever, but they said, Brownie, let's go in and have a look at the bodies. And they went in there, but they'd already been packed up, you know, and ready to be shipped out.
The officer said, Brownie, let's go take a look.
Another time, they say it. I was standing guard duty.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, so, I mean, it was weird, you know.
How did you meet Mel?
I met him in 48, beginning of latter part of 48.
In America?
No, here.
Yeah. He was stationed where?
At Bovingdon. I stood next to him so many times and took no notice of him. And finally he came into a dance hall and I had a dance with him because I'd been standing on the waiting to go dance, and he was the only one dancing with his hat on. And I said to my girlfriend, "Come on, we're not going to be wallflowers. We're going to pick the next two blokes that come round." And I picked him, and he couldn't dance. And I kept telling her at the back of him to come round and excuse me, but she wouldn't. I went out one door. I said to him, "I'm going home now." So I said good night to you. And he was walked behind me all the way out through the other door and come back in again. And he says, "I thought you was going home." I said, "No, I've just come back to collect me coat." But he ended up seeing me home.
Did you believe him when he talked about it?
I always believed in everything he said. He was that kind of man. He did my cooking.
When was the first time he ever mentioned it to you?
When you see a little bit in the paper?
Yeah, there was a bit in the paper. I can't remember whether it... Well, I say it was the Daily Mirror because that's what he always used to read and that's what was always delivered. And there was a little bit in that. And he said, I was there. I was there when that happened. And then another time I can remember going out with my friend. One time that sticks in my mind, and this is going back, I suppose it must have been the 70s. And I can remember we were walking down the main road that we've got here in Hemel. And we were walking down the road, and as I was walking up, there was this light above my head. And I can remember sort of thinking, what's that? And my friend was, say about 4 yards in front of me. So I was trying to sort of talk to her, but without saying anything because it frightened me. And she said, "What's the matter?" And as she turned round, it just zoomed off. Well, we ran like the clappers into the house, running into the living room and everything. And then we said to Dad what we'd seen. And then he come out with a little story again. But I mean, and then when he'd finished, he'd say, "Well, don't say anything because you will get me into trouble."
He did say, he said it because I can remember him saying it to you, not to be frightened, didn't he?
Yeah, he always say, "Don't be frightened."
Carol said it at the same time as you.
That's quite interesting that the kids actually had a UFO sighting of their own.
Yeah.
You notice that military men that are involved with technology, the kids or the family experience UFO sightings as well. It's almost like
a theme.
Yes, it seems like they're being tracked, or the government's keeping an eye on them, or whatever. You've heard of Finn Hadley's talked about his sighting of the TR3 popping out of a wormhole or whatever.
we don't know it was a TR3B, do we, Paul? We don't even know that exists.
Well, yeah. Well, TR3B is what people listening visualize, right? Triangle craft.
I don't know why, because Edgar Fucci was a fraud.
Yeah, although alien scientists says otherwise.
Oh no, I know. I had to stop listening.
Yeah, I suppose the only way to prove that is to, with science, you can actually build another one in a lab that's not government controlled, right? So, but yeah, I was just making a comparison here whether the aliens are watching them still, or the government's watching them still, or a bit of both. So we'll just go back on that bit again where she saw the sighting. About there was
this light above my head.
Light.
And I can remember sort of thinking, what's that? And my friend was, say about 4 yards in front of me. So I was trying to sort of talk to her, but without saying anything because it frightened me. And she said, "What's the matter?" And as she turned round, it just zoomed off. Well, we ran like the clappers into the house, running into the living room and everything. And then we said to Dad what we'd seen. And then he come out with a little story again. But I mean, and then when he'd finished, he'd say, "Well, don't say anything because you will get me into trouble."
He did say, he said it because I can remember him saying it to you, not to be frightened, didn't he?
Yeah, he always say, "Don't be frightened."
Carol said it at the same time as you did, and you both come running in, and your father says to you, "What's the matter with you two?" And you turn around and said, "Cool, we just seen something over the back of our head." Gary came in afterwards, and you said, "Did you see it?" And he said, "Did he see it?"
He saw it as well.
He said he see it zooming off. And your father turned around and said, "Well, there's nothing to be afraid of."
You only told the story of something
Yeah, if something reminded him of it. It's like when Close Encounters came out. I mean, he turned around and said that's a load of bullshit. I mean, he did not think that that was a very good film
Was it
at
all
all.
of it, or just bits of it, or the aliens in it?
All of it, I think. All of it, I think, really. I think he was...
He said the UFOs didn't like anything he'd ever seen.
Right.
I'll tell you what he didn't.
So yeah, well, when I saw the UFOs on that with the big, it looked like a big, massive thing with sticks out the side of it. It didn't look like a typical flying saucer, so I can guess why he said it was bullshit. The big mothership that comes down on top of the mountain, it looks so fake, for a UFO. It's not. I can see why he'd say it's bullshit, rather than a silver disc, that sort of come down, hovered, and the legs popped out or whatever. But yeah, but the aliens on that one look more closer to his description, though, with the slit eyes, because in Close Encounters they didn't have big black eyes like Mr. Alien Grey up here in the corner. They had really skinny eyes. Let's actually have a look at that. Close Encounters film aliens. Images. So these are the ones where they do the hand signals, right? See? They haven't got the big eyes. They're more slitty, I guess. What really got me
well, you didn't remember they made she.
No, these arms are way too skinny. That's what I didn't like about the movie. Is there any better pictures? Because it was pretty... Oh, here we go. Is it alien heads? Hasn't exactly got big eyes. It's got a big head though. And haven't got yellow skin. Oh, right, I should have looked at the UFO. The UFO is crazy. I can understand why UFO...
Yeah, if you'd listened to the interview, he apparently said to his daughter, after watching that film, they didn't look anything like that.
Yeah, the skin colour and the eyes. So this is the UFO, right? It looks like a... I don't know, how would you explain it? It looks like a jellyfish or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Come on. Why would you design a craft like that? They could have done a lot. I think George Lucas lost it there with the design of that.
Yeah, it was still a good film.
Yeah, it's a good film. And there's the little tiny aliens.
Yep.
And they had the really tall aliens. So there's tall greys and short greys. So you had the two. Mm-hmm. And of course, the guy that was the expert for it was, what's his name? Jack Valet, wasn't it? And he features in it too.
Yeah.
A scientist.
No, he doesn't. High neck features in it. But Valet is played by an actor.
I think he was used as a consultant too, wasn't he?
Yes, he was used as a consultant, yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't look so ridiculous there on the poster, though, compared to the movie. That one looks a wee bit better. I wonder why they must have changed that at the last minute or something. It's a good movie, though. I must admit, it's one of my favourite movies. Still is.
Yeah, still stands up for 1979.
Read a lot, and that was that book,
Chariot of the Gods.
Yeah.
And he was he did used to read the Bible as well, because if he used to get worried over anything or anything like that, he'd sit down and read that. And that's what really bothers me about this thing about Roswell. It's not the fact that it happened and that there's aliens out there. I couldn't care less, to be quite honest. They don't bother me at all. But the thing that really does bother me is that when Dad was dying, And I think that had played on his mind, and he must have been thinking, well, where in the hell am I going?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If there's sort of somebody that's not interested in UFOs or anything like that, they think, oh,
Well,
there's
he
a
wasn't
heaven,
afraid, was
there's a
he?
hell, you know, you die, you're going so-and-so, which everybody
He wasn't
thinks
afraid,
about.
was he?
No, he wasn't afraid.
Dad wasn't afraid. No, but that wasn't afraid.
But I mean, it was the things that he was coming out with. He kept saying they're going back to Texas, that we couldn't figure out what he was saying. And he was also saying, what was it else he was saying? He was saying that they're here and
they're coming for me, they're
coming for you. They're coming for me and they're coming for you. And that is what he kept saying. And we kept saying, well, what are you on about? I mean, he just
kept saying they're in Texas.
They're in Texas. And then, and I mean, it wasn't until a few weeks later that the penny sort of dropped, because I was sitting watching GMTV, as it was in them days, and Timothy Good was on it. And he was on there going on about Roswell, New Mexico, and, you know, a crash that happened there. And I thought, hello, you know, this sounds like what Dad was. So I phoned her up, got her up out of bed, got her to phone up, you know, TVAM or whatever it's called. And he did get in contact with us again, didn't he? And then he came to see us. And I mean, that's really how it started.
That thing in Florida, wasn't it?
Oh, we just, when we were stationed in Florida, we were all sitting out in the houses there were in a cul-de-sac, 6 that way, 6 that way, 6 that way. We sit with another couple, and it was getting about 9 o'clock, and night was coming in. And we happened to all be looking up, and we see this thing. And in fact, we watched it for an hour, shooting across. It didn't shoot, it went in, looked like it went into a big cloud sort of thing. Then we're still looking at it. And all of a sudden it come out the other end, but it was an hour we'd watched that because my neck was aching. So this other fella was in the weather balloon place, and he went in and he telephoned, because there was a telephone at the bottom of our block, and he said, "Are you watching it on screen?" He said, "We have it on screen." So we see a flying saucer then, but my husband never said anything.
But he said, didn't he say that he said no, it's nothing to worry about because they're out there all the time?
Yeah, well, he did say, well, that's nothing, but I know I've got a stiff neck through it. But he says that's nothing. He said more than likely loads over about. That was a security base too. That was Eglin Air Force Base.
Is it the phone?
We're bugged.
We thought that actually before, haven't we?
Anyway, I'm not sure I understood that last bit too much, what they were saying there. But seems like he was paranoid after all that sort of stuff, by the sounds of it. That they're watching us, or he was paranoid of actually saying anything. So he must have thought he was under surveillance. So maybe all the guys there,
you know, a lot of the witnesses were like that.
Yeah, all the troops that were involved probably feel the same. That's what I was going to say. But
yeah. If it was indeed a real event, then there's good reason to be afraid about talking out.
Yeah,
one hell of a secret to keep.
Yeah. Well, they seem convinced that he was telling the truth about it. Why would he lie about it and be paranoid about it? It seems very strange.
Does.
Especially for someone that's a cook. But yeah, like they said, everybody's got certain skill sets and jobs, but they still they learn how to fire guns and guard and all that sort of stuff. So they do other things other than just their basic thing. So if they needed everybody on hand with a gun to fence off the area, they certainly would have grabbed everyone and said, "You stand there and don't let anyone pass." That makes perfect sense to me. So I didn't see them as lying. I didn't see any deception in what they were saying there.
Absolutely, I agree with that. It's just a shame even that the whole thing is such a convoluted mess, and we can't really piece it together. And it was so long ago as well. Yeah. We can move on to the next witness if you like now.
Yep.
Well, okay, we can get through this quite quickly now, to be honest.
Yeah.
Next witness here was a World War II fighter pilot ace. Now, he wasn't at the original crash, but he was working at Wright Field, as it was then, Wright Patterson Air Force Base, and his name was Marion Black Mac McGorder.
Sounds
and he
Scottish.
claimed, it sounds that way, he claims that he actually seen a live alien. So this story is getting a little bit wild. And he was told his family he was disgusted because they destroyed the alien by experimentation. They couldn't stop running experiments on it, and eventually they killed it. And then, of course, you've got Walter Haut. Now, I was looking for his interview all day today, to be honest. I gave up in the end because it seems to have been taken down. Now, Walter Haut was the media officer at Roswell. He's the one that contacted ABC Radio and told them to put the announcement out. He was a good witness for a long time, never changed the story. And then last minute, I think it was not long before his death, he signed an affidavit and he done a taped interview saying that he did actually see one body. But he didn't see it at close enough range to give a good description of it. And so why would Walter Haut, after all that time of saying he never seen the body, suddenly say he did? I hope he wasn't persuaded to say it. I hope not. But after he said it, he contradicted himself to a French journalist. He said, you know, but now he didn't see it. And then but you said you seen a body at Roswell, and then he said yes. So it's like he couldn't make his mind up, and he said it's all a bit vague now. I'm really not that sure. So that witness testimony, I've actually heard. I've seen the interview twice. I was disappointed that I couldn't find it, so you could play that tonight.
Right.
Because I'm not sure everybody's seen that one. It's only quite recently it's been released.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
You've seen it?
No, I haven't.
No, you haven't. No, I don't think that many people have. Oh well, the real hardcore, they will have seen it. But yeah, he didn't come over as convincing at all. When he was asked what they looked like, he was like, listen, that it was a long time ago. I don't recall. I wish I'd taken a closer look. I wish I'd taken notes, but and I don't know. He just seemed uncomfortable with the confession. So I don't know how seriously to take that. Although Walter Haut was certainly one of the best witnesses. And then, of course, we've got all the people that have lied about the bodies. And believe me, I've made a short list of them here. And that's Glenn Dennis. Well, he said the nurse seen it, actually. The nurse that didn't exist.
Yeah.
Then it was Frank Kaufman, who got caught out, big style. Fake documents. He's found out. Then I got Gerald Anderson. I mentioned him early on in the show. Yeah. He's the one who's on the Navy SEALs Hall of Shame. And there was a guy called Charles H. Forgus. Now, I hadn't heard of this guy before, but Forgus was apparently, he was a deputy sheriff in Texas. He claimed that he went to pick up a prisoner in Roswell. And on the way there, he heard the broadcast that captured a flying disc. So he went over to the site in Roswell. Now, how he knew where the site was, I have no idea. When he got there, he said he's seen this flying saucer embedded, basically crashed into a wall.
Yeah.
a natural wall. Of course, I can't remember what they call it now in the in the States there. The only problem was this: all the other witnesses said that crash site was completely cordoned off, so we wouldn't have been able to get anywhere near it. So there's another one who's been discredited. And then this one is one you can't prove, or you can't prove it. Shirley Wright, who was a scientist and a colleague of Einstein's, who claims that her and Einstein were taken out to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, and Einstein examined the body. Yeah, there you go.
I don't think I believe that one.
I don't think I believe that one either, because I think it was John Keel who actually predicted, going back now to the 80s, that there'll be multiple more witnesses claiming they've seen the bodies before the 21st century arrives. And here we are now in the 21st century, and these people are still coming out of the closet saying they're new witnesses.
Now, what would be good is all those people that are around that craft with the other guy can confirm the same thing. Then we got something.
Yeah.
So shame he didn't name any other people he knew that were around in that circle that could verify his story.
It's too bad.
It is. It's really bad, isn't it?
Well, you know, I could understand there would be, if you've seen something like that, they would probably told her, you know, in no uncertain terms that you weren't to talk about this again. And I think a lot of people would have been afraid of losing their pension, and it wouldn't have been in their best interest to talk about it. But that's kind of a convenient way of saying that's why there's no better evidence. But, you know, we've looked at the evidence there for the bodies. And as I mean, it's not... I mean, I've got all the best witnesses who Kevin Randall thinks are legitimate. As for the liars, I've got half a dozen here, and there's a damn sight more than that. The list goes on and on and on. I mean, it's like that stolen valor thing. How many people in the United States claim they were in the Vietnam War? And it turns out only a small fraction of those people who made those claims did actually serve in the Vietnam War. So people tend to drag themselves into these stories, which is unfortunate for us, because it makes it more difficult to piece it all together.
Yep. It's frustrating.
Yeah, just gutted I couldn't find that Walter Haut video.
I wonder if we could ask Edge, Walter Haut. How do you spell his name?
H-A-U-T.
Yeah, let me just... let's see. Is there a interview with Walter H-A-U-T Haut?
There is an interview. It's whether it's been taken down or not. I assume it has.
About Roswell, was it? Let's see if the computer knows.
About Roswell, yeah.
UFO.
Yeah, try that.
Try that?
Yep.
See if the AI knows, because it should be able to search all the websites for us. Yes, there's an interview. There you go. According to the article.
The only problem there is it the interview where he confesses to seeing the bodies?
Don Smith, it says here, a book.
Kevin Randall has a bit of a problem with the Walter Haut confession. He wasn't a part of that. It was Don Schmidt and Tom Carey.
couldn't even find information about an interview with Walter Haut where he's saying, what's it say? Seen with the bodies. According to an article, SBS What's On, Haut was the public information officer at the base, put out the press release about the recovered flying disc in 1947. He was also a witness to what had fallen from the sky that fateful night after his death in 2005. An affidavit was published in 2007. Witness to Roswell, Unmasking the Government Biggest Cover-Up, a book co-authored by Don Smith. That's all it's coming up with. Was it actually a interview on video?
Oh yeah.
No, there was an interview on video of him talking about the alien bodies. Is it on the web? Let's see if that figures it out. I found a video clip. Here we go. Taken at Roswell Museum in 2000 with friends Dennis Bolheiser and Wendy Connors. States that the alien body was relatively small and size of a 10 or 11-year-old. Is that the one you saw?
Yes.
Where's the link? Does it give us a link here? Is that one there? That's where it found it from. Let me just open it up. Is that him? Roswell officer speaks from the grave. Video released. Is that the one?
Could be.
But it's not a video. It looks like a photograph.
Yeah, I was able to find all that, but I thought that was a video you found then.
There's no video there. What's this waveform? What's that about? Baker sums up his conclusion. His voice was analyzed. Okay, so they did what's that? That special voice stress analysis, have they? VSA development continues. Yeah, voice was analyzed. Makes mention of recovered alien. Baker uses digital VSA format. Baker sums up his conclusion. This sounds like a transcript then. Voice stress analysis confirms Haut told the truth. There you go. Oh, can't read that. Well, we'll post a link to that in the side then, and you can all have a look. But yeah, I can't see a video link, but that looks like it's from the video though.
Yeah, it could well be. It look familiar.
Okay, let's go back to Bing here. Can you provide the video link to watch? No, I couldn't find the video link to watch. The article on Nexus Feed only mentions the video. Damn it.
I think it may well have been archived somewhere, you know.
Yeah, someone will have a copy of it. Is there a keyword in the article that we can find? Video released, it says here. Let's Alien size 10-year-old. Let's search on that then. Search with Google. Have we got that option? Copy link. Not copy. Copy. Let's go back to Brave.
Oh, hold on a minute.
Let's see.
Hold on a minute, Paul. Oh, hold on a second.
Yeah.
See if this will play for you. Okay, it's in the side chat.
Well. Got too many tabs again. No. Okay, so you got a sun video of it.
No, the video's at the top. Seems to be a video at the top. Giving you an option to play there.
Maybe it's hidden because of the dark theme. Oh, right, there's the button come up now. Now let's go full screen. So you found it. How did you find it?
I tried a newspaper search as well, but this is probably not the full interview.
Yeah, but even the AI computer didn't find it. So there you go. Just shows you how you...
Yeah, I'm better than it.
Yeah, we're better than AI.
Yeah.
To the best of my remembrance, there was
Yeah, let me boost it up.
Yeah.
Boy, you got me going back so many years that to the best of my resemblance, it was a relatively small body, comparable to maybe a 10 or 11-year-old child. It was pretty well beat up. I cannot come and give you, to be honest, anything other than that. I remember something about the arms, and I'm trying to visualize that, and all of a sudden it starts going through my little head that they show some of those long arm in the cartoons. This is a long period of time has gone by.
Any color?
I honestly don't know. As I said, I just mentioned, it's been so long ago. Mm-hmm. And to try and remember details, I wish that I had been smarter in my youth and sat down with a tape recorder and talked about the whole thing, and then 20 or 30 years later sell a copy of it to you or somebody else.
Yeah, it wasn't very convincing, was it?
There was only one body?
No.
And what did that body look like?
Yeah, what's going on?
Don't know.
Yeah, it looks like it was replaying it again. It's gone screwy. So
we were told there was going to be footage.
No.
Oh, what you done?
I didn't do anything. It was taking control of me. Typical Sun paper. Actually, I'm just going to post. Close that down there. But we'll tell the IR where to find it. Oh, I found it. I wonder what it'll say. Thank you for sharing. Sharon is Karen. I actually should say that. Sharon is Karen. What's it going to say to that? See, that AI can make lots of fun. What did it say? Indeed, it is. If you have any other questions or concerns, feel free to ask me. Okay, let's see. What do you know about Robert Farmer of Rhodes? This, you never know what will come up.
You should use my middle name, George.
Yeah, probably. Oh, it's got something. Oh no, couldn't find anything. Information. You're unknown. There you go. Let's see. His full name is Robert George Farmer of what is it, Holy Oak or whatever it is. What's that place you're at there? How do you spell it?
Holy Head.
Double L or single L?
No, one L.
Holy Head, like that?
Yeah, perfect.
If it comes back nothing, then you're not being spied on. Or
no, I could find myself on. I could find myself online, Paul.
Let's see. No. However, you can try searching for him in phone book. Yeah, that's funny.
You've only got to type Robert George Farmer into Google to find me. This is useless.
Yeah. Who is Paul Skinner of the Out There channel?
Oh, well, you've got a detail.
I bet I'm being tracked. Thinking. Oh, it's taking a wee while. I've broken the system. What does it say? Paul Skinner is an author and speaker who shares interviews and talks about his books on his YouTube channel. I ain't got books. I couldn't find any information about the Out There channel. Is there anything else I can help you with? Speaker shares interviews and talks about his books. Maybe it's another Paul Skinner. Oh, it sounds like it. So it looks like we're safe for the time being. Microsoft doesn't know about us. But now I've mentioned it, they probably start doing research. So next time people ask questions, it'll have information on it. So they have all our criminal back history. They won't find any though from me. But yeah, you should get onto Bing and have a bit of play with it.
Yeah, sure, man. It's only going to get better anyway, isn't it?
Yeah. So what's next? The nuclear stuff, or you got the energy for it?
Yeah. We can have a look at the
So maybe we should do a vote on the side. I'm not sure if we can do a poll. How do we do polls on this? Let's do a poll. Start a poll. Let's see. Who thinks Roswell was alien craft? Yes or no? How do we do it? Ask your community. Yes, no. Let's see if it works. I'll probably end up stuffing up the chat thing. Does that work? It's only got the question here for me. It's stuck it up the tent, up the top. 100% yes. I suppose I can't even vote. Yeah, it's got it on the side up here. But how'd you get to it? You have to click on that, do you? No. End poll. See, it must be different for me. It must come out different for you guys.
Well, I'll tell you where I am. I'm still a don't know.
Oh, it's gone down to 50%. You must have been the no.
Well,
you can only do a yes and no. You can't do don't know, unfortunately. So that's that sort of makes it a bit worse.
Yeah, I can be kind of optimistic. Oh, wow. Okay.
We haven't got too many people watching, so our poll won't
No.
go very long.
Yeah, Dr. Harper said no. Yeah, I'm not convinced either. I'm just not. Well, the only thing I can say without any question of a doubt is something crashed at Roswell, and whatever it is, they're still covering it up. That doesn't mean to say it's aliens.
And the bodies might have been human bodies, but they're pretty small for human bodies.
I'm glad you never said crash test dummies.
No, could have been human bodies that got burnt, or some chemical put on them that made them turn yellow. They could have been Asians, because Asians are pretty small, right? Maybe they're like 3 foot, 4 foot, some of them.
Oh, especially not that small. Good
Indonesians.
God. I mean,
what? Actually, we should have kept open the computer AI and asked it. What is the smallest Asian height?
No, you can't say smallest. You've got to say average.
Okay, what is Asian height for, let's say, Indonesia? Oh, I'm not sure if I spelled that right.
Asia.
5 foot. 2
Yeah.
inches.
Doesn't work.
So that means there's got to be smaller people then.
I mean, you've got the pygmies. They were a race of people, but I don't think they had pygmies in some experimental craft. Do you? Yeah,
I said chimps before, but you said nah, not chimps. Trained chimps to fly.
No. Oh no, I don't believe that. Yeah. That's along the same lines as Nick Redfern's crazy Japanese deformed dwarves. He said they were, oh my god, in a V2 rocket.
Did he? Did he actually say that?
Yeah, I had nightmares that night. It was more scary than aliens.
Oh god, okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. Average height of races or something. Maybe there's a chart.
Average height of Asian men would have been the best one because
around the world. Here we go. Oh my god.
No.
I thought it'd be a nice chart. Is there a chart here? Oh, right, here we go. Alright. Non-Hispanic white. It's talking about inches. Why hasn't it got in feet? So, what's this? Well, it's not a complete list. All right, it's going North America, South America, 5 foot. Europe. Tallest. Want the smallest? Has it got smallest? Shortest. Here we go. Indonesia. See, I told you they'd be the smallest. 5 foot 2. Philippines. 5 foot 3. Cambodia. So that means it's got to be smaller than that. So that's the averages. Oh well, at least we got that sort of right. But yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to have a? It's been going 3 hours now, so do you want to have a quick look at the nuclear incursions?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I'll leave that in the side chat. Go away, Paul. I can't see. There we are.
I don't know what you're up to. I can't see most of the time.
Why can't it say close poll? Ah, there we go.
UFO nukes. I'll probably have to go to the toilet again, actually. Do you want to read out some of this, or what? Where do you want to begin?
Well, yeah, I can't. Oh, right. I'll try and.
What you could do is share your screen. What
Yeah,
you can do is share your screen, and then you can read out what's on your screen. But you only got one screen, which makes it a bit harder.
Yeah.
You have to share the app window. Most people got two monitors to do
yeah,
it.
But anyway, you go toilet and then come back and.
So yeah, you could be looking at a document here while I go. I'm not sure why I need to go to the toilet so much today. That one.
But the most important thing is you're looking at you're looking at all the incursions there with documented evidence, which is not leaked documents. These have been attained through the FOIA Act.
Yeah, I remember you see us laughing that there was no evidence of UFOs and nuclear incidents where UFOs were taking them offline.
Well, he's talking through his backside. There's a number of documents and letters we can have a look at.
Yeah, all the skeptics were saying that that they are often taken offline for maintenance and all that sort of stuff, or they had faults that happened and they had to replace circuit boards. And they sort of discount that it happened when the UFO was above and they're staring at it, you know. So, yeah, we know that UFOs give off various energies, like electromagnetic waves and all that sort of stuff. So, and ionized gas as well is another one. Anyway, I've got to go to the toilet, and that's as big as we can get that, by the looks of it. So, what's this here? from? See, I'm not going to be able to read that. It's a wee bit hard to read that. 19 July.
Yeah, I mean, that's for people to read themselves, to be honest. All I'm doing is pointing out the amount of evidence there is, and I would imagine that is just the tip of the iceberg.
Well, at recent weekly intelligence conference, it is well known that there have been, during the past 2 years, reports from the various parts of the country of the sighting of UAPs, which have been called in newspaper something rather flying discs and saucers. So where's the report? That's not actually a report, that one. That's sort of a general intro.
Yeah, that's an FBI memorandum. Well, memo is different from...
green fireballs, discs, meteors, right. That's not about nukes though. Where's the ones about nukes?
They're all related.
Oh, there. Here we are. Yeah. Let me have a look. Francis, located in the area which has recently experienced a considerable number of reports pertaining to UFOs on this night of 31 July 1965. Several civvies of Cyan reported to the local radio stations various objects, generally with red and green flashing lights. Okay, that kind of sounds like planes though. Were relayed to Francis Warren. So again, where's the stuff about the nukes here? V-shaped. That's it. Okay.
Yeah, I can't tell what you're looking at there, but maybe you should try Maelstrom. But don't you need to go to the toilet?
I do. Okay, I'll come back. Yeah, I'm not sure where we need to find in that. Maybe you can have a look and let us know when we get back.
Yeah, sure, man. Yeah, so is everybody looking forward to the hearings that are coming up? Well, actually just 2 days now, Wednesday. It's not going to be too exciting for me. David Greer has already, said what he's had to say, although it will be interesting to see if his testimony is any different under oath than what it was in that original interview on News Nation. I don't know. And then of course David Fravor and Ryan Graves. That's all of them. It's just going to be those three of them. So I'm afraid I can't get overly excited about that. Ross Coulthard, I don't know, the guy that broke the story. I'm not really sure what to make of him. He's put his name to a number of things now that I just don't believe in. The Aztec crash, he's looked into that. He believes it's real. He's done a documentary included in that case. There was another case that was false, the Penturk case in Wales. He's into that. He believes Bob Lazar.
I'm back.
Oh yeah, okay. Just let me finish off quickly.
Yep.
This I'm talking about Ross Coulthard and this recent claim that they've got a craft that's so big, yeah, they had to build a building around it. That sounds like pure science fiction to me. I just cannot believe that for 1 second. And then he says, so a source told you this, and he's there. Multiple. So multiple sources have told him this cockamamie story well. And he knows where it's located as well, but he can't tell us, of course. And then nothing there, that's why. Paul, have a look at the 1967 Maelstrom one.
Where's that?
Just scroll down to it. Maelstrom Air Force Base, March 16, 1967, Echo flight shutdown.
Alright. I think that might be the one. Alert with no apparent difficulty. What's this?
Yeah.
Investigation as to the cause of the incident is being conducted by Kalk Strom. Two fits. What's that mean? Have been run through 2 missiles thus far. No conclusions have been drawn. There are indications that both computers and both ENCs, where's it gone? Were upset momentarily. Cause of the upset is not known at this time. All other significant information at this time is it's got something there. Contain
in both reference messages, yeah.
Contained in the both messages.
Let me read that next bit there. Oh, you keep moving it. The fact that no apparent reason for the loss of 10 missiles can be readily identified is cause for, quote, grave concern to this headquarters. We must have an in-depth analysis to determine cause and correct action, and we must know as quickly as possible what the impact is to the fleet, if any. Request your response in keeping with the urgency of the problem. We in turn will provide our full cooperation and support. So you can see they're really concerned over what happened at Maelstrom, and so I don't understand how people can turn around and call Robert Sellers a fraud. I just can't.
Yeah, where's the comment about it being UFO related here, though?
Do you honestly think they're going to use the words UFO in an official document, Paul? Don't be silly. If they did use that word, that never ever would have been released.
Well, that is a point. Does say incident. That's about all we got, isn't it?
Yes, and they know, and they also said that it was unknown what shut them down. Now remember, these missiles now have all 10 missiles have got independent systems. So when you're talking about a motherboard failure earlier, it's only going to affect one missile. What's the chances of 10 going down at exactly the same time without any outside interference?
Was it the missiles that went down, or was it the control station to the missiles that went down?
No, the missiles were offline. That's all you need to know. The missiles were still operable once the missiles weren't damaged. In fact, nothing was damaged. That's the strange part of it.
Mm. So that's just one page there. What's that one about?
You see, there was another incursion in 1975.
UFOs mentioned on that one.
The one in 1975 was, I think, multiple, and there was black helicopters flying around as well, and nobody know who they belong to. Which
let's read out this one. Just trying to get focus on it. What's it? Sean Major, Junior Major, Base Director of Operations, comments. Captain Smith, Missile Combat Crew Commander on duty at Missile Mission, was being interrupted by static. This static was accompanied by the UFO coming close to the missile site. When UFO climbed, static stopped. The UFO appeared to be SE of Mike 6. What's that mean? Southeast of Mike 6. Okay.
Yeah,
range,
well, there's no way we can understand that terminology, is there?
Mike being flight. That's there. Mike. Missile site. Mike FLT, whatever that is. Flight lieutenant,
Code name,
maybe?
It's a code name of some sort, I think. I don't know.
Or is it talking about a person? This
I doubt
looks
it.
like Mike, Flight Lieutenant. Mike, Flight Lieutenant. Anyway, so it is talking about UFO there.
No, Mike Flight. That would have been. It's like Oscar flights. Do you see what I mean? Each individual missile silo has its own name.
Right. Radar has given altitude as 100,000 feet. What's that say there? NW, northwest of Minot Air Force Base. This time, a strike team reported UFO descending, checked with radar. Where's it gone from there? They also verified this. UFO then began to swoop and dive. It then appeared to land 10 to 15 miles south of Mike 6. Right, so you're probably right about the name then. Mike 6 missile site. Control set. Sent a strike team to check. When the team was about 10 miles from the landing site, which is the wrong spelling, isn't it? Landing site should be SITE. I don't know. Static disrupted radio contact with them. 5 to 8 minutes later, the glow diminished and the UFO took off. Another UFO was visually sighted and confirmed by radar. So that sounds like it's a real thing. The one that was first sighted passed beneath the second. Radar also confirmed this. The first made for altitude towards the north, and the second seemed to disappear with the glow of red. So here you go. So this is an official document.
Yeah.
You know, and they're talking about UFOs, and it sounds
well,
like a real
it's
thing.
one of those rare occasions where they've released a document like this that's got UFO in it. Well, well, no, it's not actually. It's not. But it's rare for a nuclear incursion. There's been thousands of UFO-related documents released, but of course, UFO still only means an identified flying object, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's wonder it wasn't censored, though.
Yeah, I thought that some parts of it would have been redacted, and that seems to be in its entirety.
And 1975. What we got here? Department of Air Force.
Yeah, there's one that mentions the helicopters, because that was really strange what was going on there.
Copy of your letter. October 29th. Commander Director called by Air Force Operations Center concerning an unknown helicopter landing in the munition storage areas at Lauren Air Force Base, Maine. Apparently this was second night in a row for this occurrence. That sounds almost like Winson Forest thing, doesn't it? There was also a indication, but not confirmed, that Canadian bases had been overflown by a helicopter.
Yeah, they were unmarked as well.
They never
So
found
it's
out
like
what it was.
No, they never found where they came from, which would kind of suggest some deep state organization that were looking into the UFO sightings. and tracking them. And the tracking, I would imagine, well, obviously comes from NORAD that's mentioned there.
Yeah. What's that line going through it? There might be a crease in the paper. Maybe. Yeah.
So you can see again there, it mentions UFOs again there.
But that's not talking about actual nuclear site there, though, isn't it? NORAD command directors.
Oh, there was weapon sites there.
Hovered over SAC weapons storage, and then departed. Tanker,
which was nuclear weapons.
Tanker flying at 2,700 feet, made both visual sighting and radar. Tracked object 35 miles southeast over Lake Huron, where contact was lost. Oh, that's interesting. I wonder if it went into the water. Helicopter turned into a UFO. I don't know. That's kind of a strange one. How would it get lost over the lake? You still have radar hits.
Yeah, you'd have thought so, unless it got low enough.
Yeah, it might have been skimming the water, so to speak, to lose the radar track.
Yeah.
Or landed on a ship on the water. Interesting. It's not exactly a UFO, though.
Well, it meant you just cut it off there before it mentioned the UFO.
Did I? I didn't.
Yeah, look at right at the bottom.
Right bottom. I can't see it.
Paul, U.S. Air Force letter RV repeated UFO incursions.
Yeah, no, I just got the mouse cursor on it. That looks like it's been like a stamp added to it, though. Doesn't it?
Yes, it is. It's part, but it's still part of an official document.
It looks like it carries on, is it? Oh no, these might be other ones.
They are the ones. There's a bunch of them. We haven't got time to read them all out here now because we needed to do them in order anyway. Otherwise, they're just going to sound like a load of gobbledygook. And it's horrible text to read, I understand that.
Certainly is. Sometimes they scan it in OCR and then you can just read out that on the web page, but obviously this page doesn't do it. What's this one here? Says very bright object to the east is now southeast of them, and they are looking at it with 10 times 50 binoculars. Object seems to have lights, several on it, but no distinct pattern. The orange/gold object overhead also has small lights on it. SAC also advises female civvy reports having seen an object bearing south from the position, 6 miles west. Reports that the object to their northeast seems to be issuing a black object from it. Issuing? Okay. Tubular in shape, and all this time surveillance has not been able to detect any sort of track except for known traffic. So we're talking about a cloaked tubular shaped craft. A black object. So that's kind of sounds like they got stealth technology even back then, if it's ours or the Russians or whatever. Or aliens. Witness affidavits. Well, that's quite a long one. What else we got?
Letters. Yeah, you've got letters as well. Now the Mansman letters there that you've gone past now.
Miscellaneous. Yeah, I'm just having a skim. Oh, we got some pictures as well. What's that? Let's have a look at that pictures. What is it? A unique view of the largest vehicle with a smaller, faintly visible in the distance. Okay. Again, that looks very similar to the Roswell thing, doesn't it?
Well, it's blurry out of focus, isn't it? It's difficult to say what's going on.
And that one's more disc-like, I guess. Is that the second object? Yeah, it's not very good though.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Go back. What have we got here? All location of sightings, is it?
Yeah, well, you need to look at the heading.
Yeah, I thought it might be on the paper. 2012 sightings near Maelstrom Air Force Base.
And there you've got a map.
So all those little dots are where the same sightings, I guess?
Yeah,
I don't
all
know.
numbered. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either. What's that say up there? Well, it's got numbers next to them, but it's not making any sense.
No, it's not.
Witness. No, it's not making any sense to me. And that's the bottom. Okay, what did you want to talk about the letters? Okay. Which one do you want to look
Yeah,
at?
but there's no point going into it, but this was the big incident. These are from a Terence Mansman, who, and he's basically backing up what Bob Jacobs said about the remember the dummy warhead that was shot down by a UFO?
Yeah.
And Mansman got a load of stick from it, got a sack from his job, and Philip Class was on his case and all sorts. Well, Mansman was the guy in charge at the time, and he's backing up exactly what Jacobs said.
Well, what did Jacobs not to discuss what he saw with anyone because of the nature of the launch? And then it's got a list here. The object was saucer shaped. Don't remember. Do not know the names of the CIA personnel.
They're the ones that confiscated the tape.
Right. Only assumptions from the seriousness of the situation. I was ordered not to discuss any of what was seen or discussed during the screenings. I only passed my order as the ranking optical instrument officer. No film was ever released from our archives without a signature. I even signed out film when we had launch showings. Okay. Continued on to the next page. So this was
incident. There was another one like it too. I found in a newspaper article. I thought it's got to be the same one, but it wasn't.
So this is Mann's letter to T. Scott. Okay. And that was the end bit. Further, if the government wishes to withhold such vital information, which most certainly relates to our basis Star Wars research, then this information must be protected. Working in special projects my entire Air Force career. And signed, whatever his first name is, and what's his name? Mansman.
Mansman, Florence Mansman.
I can only say in regard to your research that in all my activities to date, indications point to one fact. The information gathered from space is very favourable to our side. What's that mean?
I think that was the Star Wars project at the time, wasn't it?
So they basically had ownership of the skies, basically what you're saying there, is it?
I think so.
Or space, at least.
Yeah.
Was there any other stuff that you wanted to bring
No,
up?
not particularly, Paul.
Is that the only evidence we've got there of nuclear sites?
There's quite a few of them. Flipping heck. There's, I mean, these are just the ones with documentation, Paul. I mean, if you don't know which base to fire, I mean, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's over 10 incursions there. Oh no, they're not 10 because some of them are the same year. But yeah, they're the big ones. Basically, you're very lucky to get documentation on anything, you know.
Yeah. So, I suppose the skeptics are saying, though, because it doesn't exactly say that the nuclear missiles were taken offline, means it was done by UFOs, I suppose, rather than a mechanical fault.
Well, it couldn't have been a mechanical fault. There's no such fault that could have caused 10 missiles to go offline.
Well, I mean,
but,
mechanical.
Yeah, of course, unless they admit it was aliens that done it, then they can still hide behind that.
So people have just got to read all that themselves instead of us trying to struggle through it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, we've actually done Maelstrom in the past, and we've done with a Mylar Air Force base in the past as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, most people know the basic details of what happened there. So, but it's nice to have some documentation to go with it.
I know we've covered it before, but no one bothers listening to us, though. So, if you type in Robert Nuke, probably, let's see what come up.
Yeah, we covered the Big Sur incident as well. It's popping off for a second.
Here we go. Just trying to find what it was called. Trinity case, we did that one. Yeah, Robert talks best UFO cases. Let's try nuclear. Here we go. UFOs over power plants and water. Here we go. Air Force Base UFOs. Sunday, so it used to be called Sunday UFO cases with Robert, because he always does it at this time, you know, midnight to early morning. So you can easily find the stuff because I make a lot of descriptions and good titles that you can find this stuff in here. Alien shootouts, encounters in the woods. What else we got? Did UFOs nearly cause World War III? Colonel Haut, what really happened? Yeah, that was a good one. Dayaloft Pass incident. Robert talks off-world craft because we had to change it because we were getting censored really bad. We couldn't say UFO. and Alien UAP, and then they started banning UAP, so that one's been lost. UFO crash sites. That's Robert talks lesser known crash cases. There's a lot there that we've done. You just have to go and watch it all. But yeah, I'm not too sure. It'll probably be on this one there, or
oh, excuse me.
I think there was one called, did they call it World War III or something?
Yeah, you just found it there.
Did I just find it?
Yeah, you did
here we
find
go.
it.
That one there. I'm not sure if that was on that one or not. So this is before we had chapters, of course, unfortunately. Yeah, there's a bit of Air Force Base one. So maybe check that one out. Oh, we've got it muted there. But yeah, that's got a big long runway here. So go and check out some of our past shows, that's all we can really say. Not that you will. It's always good for a UFO channel that instead of just watching one show, always watch 2 shows every day or whatever. I'll post a link to that one. What was the other one we had here? Power plants. That one's a 4-hour show too.
Yeah, I'll tell you a good one was the Bylokovich incident in the old Soviet Union. It was Ukraine, where all the missiles were turned. There, let me finish. Where all the missiles were actually turned into. They were launching for 15 whole seconds. They went into launch mode, and that was and there's documentation on that as well.
What was it
called? It was in a little. It was near a little town called Bylokovich in Ukraine, the old Soviet Union.
Ukraine. Let's see.
I doubt if that will come up. I'm not sure.
I spelled it right.
Dan, don't. Yeah, you spelled Ukraine right, but don't ask me how to spell Bylokovich.
Grand Canyon, Ukraine, invisible UFOs. No.
That was probably, did the aliens nearly cause World War III? That's probably where it was covered, Paul.
Oh, right.
Because if
they had in the search,
if they had have been launched, it would have caused World War III.
Yeah. Look, we've done so much stuff here. But you have to keep repeating it because there's always new people coming in, and a lot of people are too lazy to look at the old stuff.
You can't blame people, 4 hours ago, and yeah, it's
that was your first live stream. There's your first live stream.
Don't play that. Don't play that.
This is where Robert started from, the Scottish UAP one, and I was explaining to him about long exposure and
7 in the morning.
Yeah, that was a long one too. 4 hours.
What day it was?
Let's see, mass UFO sighting, Lubbock
lights.
Yeah, Ukraine didn't come up. Yeah, it probably wasn't one of those neat ones. Someone can find it.
It would have been that. Did
anyway,
aliens need technology?
Yeah. Perhaps. Have you done any latest searches on it? Let's see if there's anything new popping up. What is it? All right, that was your one. Let's see. I'm not sure how you spell it though. Was it about nuclear weapons then? Ukraine.
Paul, are you searching
what year
now?
was it? Yeah, I just doing a quick search here. What year was it?
1986, I think.
86. Did it have a special name? Ukraine, 1986.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't.
Okay, UFO incident. I'll just try that. See what comes up. See if anyone else has talked about it.
You Google now, are you?
Backgrounder on Chernobyl. Nope.
Yeah. Look, I'll find it for you.
British Defence Minister. After Russia, aliens invading Ukraine. Oh, here we go. Is that the one? Vonronish UFO incident. Is that the one?
Oh, Vorontsov. No, that was that was an alien landing.
Ah, right. Children watching it.
It was actually in 1982.
Finn's been Finn Hardley's been learning what is it? Bender, 3D Bender, and he's been putting graphics in with the witness accounts. He's doing a good job of it too.
Yeah, sure.
Have you been watching what he's been doing?
Yeah, I had a quick look at it. Yeah, I've left the link there, Paul.
Okay.
Anyway, it's time we pack then. It's nearly 4 hours.
Okay. Yeah. Time flies when you're having fun. Okay. It's not scrolling not very fast for some reason. Okay. Maybe I have to get rid of that. There must be something on that page. That's black already, is it? So what have we got here? UFO activated nuclear missiles in the USSR. So it's not just America.
No. Recently, it's come out. There was a couple in India as well.
Yeah.
But we don't have good details yet.
No, because it'll be in Russian language and the Indian will be in Indian language and people got to translate it to English and upload it. Following the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991. The incident was first published in October 1984 on the American ABC news program. More recently, on June 16, 2010, a large circulation Russian newspaper, Life, published an article about the case. Okay. Sensational documents and other evidence confirm that the Soviet military base near, there we go, by Lokhorotchich, Ukraine, and US Air Force Base near Minot, were attacked by aliens from space. It's funny how they used the word attack there. Hovering over the missiles and each incident, a UFO in a matter of seconds hacked the codes required to launch them, nearly unleashing a third world war. Journalists working for Life found revealing documents about the Ukrainian incident for a 20-year-old radio operator. Yeah, very interesting. But yeah, would it hack the codes or somehow bypass the codes?
Yeah, that's anyone's guess, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know about hacking codes. But anyway, he's put the link down there for people to read it.
I don't know, may be able to have hacked them in a split second.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll wrap up there if you want to. And
yeah, or need something to eat.
Okay. Well, we'll just wrap up there, guys. What are we coming up to? You said 4 hours, was
it?
Yeah.
Whoever's been here tonight, thanks very much. It's really appreciated.
Yeah, 3.5 hours, it says here. That's long enough. So if any more comes to light, Robert can talk about it another day, I guess. And
I'll look a bit further into those Indian ones.
Yeah.
But don't think there's that much information as yet.
Yeah, way UCR's going, UFOs is all bunk and they don't exist and there's no such thing as aliens.
Yeah, I know.
So that's like blinkers on, really. It's looking at a really narrow spectrum of people for information.
I know, but he's bitter. He's bitter, and unfortunately he's become bitter and twisted.
He's a twisted brother, not a twisted sister. Yeah,
it's a shame.
I tried to invite him to come to my live stream and jump on the chat and maybe even talk with us both, and maybe
no, his mind's made up, Paul.
Yeah, but
if there was any good evidence now, he'd try.
Yeah, but even Steve Cambion said he saw UFOs, and yet he seems to idolize Steve Cambion and Mick West and Green Streak and a few other ones now. Well,
it's so purpose.
Well, I knew as soon as anyone that went on the Lou bandwagon that they were going to get all wrong information, because Lou was trying to promote on TV shows skydivers and all sorts of crap and AI enhancement videos, which are a load of garbage, because AI is really bad for video pattern matching and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's going to get better.
Only if you can train it to be better.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they should feed it my live shows demonstrations into it, and then it can learn. Anyway, you can drop off now if you want to, and say good night to everybody. And
good night, everybody. Yeah, see you later, guys.
Good night, all. Thanks for showing up. Hopefully, it wasn't too disorganized, hopefully. But yeah, I think we sort of covered quite a lot of stuff there, and gave you a lot of extra links that you can read up if you're really interested in it. I lost my 1 sub on YouTube. YouTube took it away, so now I've dropped back down again in the roundup. So it's back to 2.61 instead of 2.62. I can never win. Yeah, so I'll just put up the end credits and say take care on the roads, and I'll see you again on the next live show. See when I can do it, of course. Well, I better check out the volume level here. Way loud. Way loud, that was. Yeah. Always do your own background checks on the people that are putting out all these articles. If they've got a dodgy background, don't believe what they have to say about UFOs. You can't beat finding the real documents, you know, government documents like we just showed. And it talks about radar hits. There must be a lot of information the government's got. Especially on Roswell. We need those photos and videos. It's really annoying. Oh, I better end.